Chapter 26. Pretty Girls Are Most Likely Killers. Chapter 26. Pretty Girls Are Most Likely Killers. It was only eating. The event that Zhao expected never happened. However, they'd still left their numbers. Zhao believed that they weren't pure white lotuses. Actually, they'd already mentally prepared themselves when they'd come to Hollywood. However, Irwin clearly took care of Shalian, so they would have to talk about the other stuff later. Irwin took Zhao to the elevator. When do you have time? I'm free most of the time. Okay, then I'll contact you later. The elevator stopped after a few floors, and two people walked in. Zhao could feel two pairs of eyes staring at him. When he turned around, the two didn't avert their eyes and continued staring. Do we know each other? No. Is there something on my body or face? Zhao glanced at himself and discovered that there was blood on the corner of his clothes. He'd gotten stained at those sisters' house just then. Oh, you're looking at this? It's not my blood. I'm a doctor. The two didn't reply. Zhao just wanted to get on the car home and take a hot shower. However, the moment the elevator stopped at the first floor and the door opened, the two people pounced on him. They tackled him to the ground. A few police officers also appeared outside and pointed at Zhao's forehead. Don't move. And then Zhao had handcuffs on. I'm not a criminal. I didn't break any laws. A tall black guy walked in. Zhao looked up and saw Melson. Melson. Chun, how come it's you? I'm asking you. Why are you doing this to me? What did I do wrong? Looking at the two immobilizing Zhao, Melson said, Jimmy, Taig, what's going on? Head, he has blood on him and we suspect that the killer hasn't left this building yet. We have reason to suspect that he's the killer. Melson looked at the blood on Zhao's shirt. Chun, can you tell me what's going on? I have a patient up there, Zhao said. The patient has a sister too. Maybe they can prove my innocence. You know, I'm a doctor. After thinking, Melson said, What floor does your patient live on? 78th floor, room 7802. Can we go visit them again? Of course. Zhao had to erase the suspicion on him immediately, so he could only take Melson and the other officers back to the 78th floor. However, Melson still owed Zhao for many things, so he uncuffed him. Ding, dong. Irwin, it's me, Chun. Can you open the door? No response. Zhao pressed the bell again, but there was still no response. Weird. Why aren't they opening the door? Chun, are you sure this is the right room and floor? I'm sure. Then why aren't they opening the door? I don't know. Melson walked over and knocked. Is anyone home? This is the police. We need you to cooperate. Oh, I have their number. I can try calling them. Zhao called the number they gave, but still no one answered. How is it? No one's answering. Head, I think I hear a phone ringing. Melson's expression changed. Move aside. With that, Melson hit his pistol on the lock and forced the door open. The blood in the room was obvious, but it was empty of people. There was only a phone on the table that kept ringing. Where are they? Where did they go? Melson's expression was dark. They're the true killers. We were all fooled. Zhao finally made sense of everything now too. The pair of sisters weren't actresses chasing their dreams at all. They were murderers. They'd killed someone, but the younger sister was injured. If they tried to escape, they wouldn't be able to go far. So they found an empty room and tricked Zhao over. Then they made up a story to fool them. They'd made him stay for a meal because they were worried that Zhao would run into the police if he left. Shalian couldn't move either. She had to rest. Now, they delayed long enough so that Shalian could move, and then they let Zhao go and attract the police while they could escape. One had to admit that even though the plan seemed simple, it wasn't easy to execute. They had to face Zhao so calmly in that kind of situation. Plus, they'd performed their roles as two conflicting yet loving sisters so realistically. Zhao had fallen into their trap the moment Irwin had said she was a nameless actress. He believed that they were telling the truth since the beginning. As expected, Zhao was brought to the police station. However, the blood on his clothes proved his innocence. According to Melson, there were 4 bodies at the scene. This meant that the siblings had killed 4 people, but the younger sister was injured. They'd found the blood of 5 people. After comparing the blood, they confirmed that the blood on Chen Zhao matched the missing 5th person. Where's Jerlin? At the station? She's at the hospital. She's hurt. No, she's responsible for the female killer you caught today. Oh, when can I leave? It's all right now. You can leave after signing this. Chen Zhao said what he had to and described the appearances of the 2 suspects. Chen Zhao wasn't under suspicion, so he was naturally released. He'd thought that he was lucky today. He'd met 2 Hollywood actresses, and if they became famous, they might be able to develop into one-night stands. But they ended to be a pair of murderers. Thankfully, they didn't want to kill him. Or rather, he could be taken advantage of, so they didn't kill him. Chen Zhao felt that America was super dangerous. He'd met 3 beauties today, but each was scarier than the last. Thankfully, he was still alive. This was the luckiest part out of his unlucky day. As Chen Zhao rode home, Jerlin called. Jerlin, are you asking me out to dinner? No. I have bad news for you, Jerlin said solemnly. Please don't say Kelly escaped. Please don't say Kelly escaped. Please don't say Kelly escaped. That female killer escaped. You better be careful. She might look for you for revenge. Fuck. Whatever I'm scared of becomes real. Chapter 27. Going to Hell Alive. Chapter 27. Going to Hell Alive. Noticing that Chen Zhao was back, Ethan immediately brought out a mature golden retriever. Chen, you're back. Let me introduce to you. This is Sasha. I adopted her. Beelzebub had already charged forward. He smelled Sasha's ass, after which he attempted to mount her. However, given Beelzebub's size, he would not be able to reach her even if he stood up. Beelzebub, can you stop being so embarrassing? Woof woof. Raymond, you bastard. You bastard. Beelzebub roared in anger. Demons' abilities were not very effective against each other, but they were not totally useless either. This was because demons had various desires too. After all, they were also organisms. Demons with similar strength could not really go against each other's own will. For example, Beelzebub had always wanted Raymond to eat shit. This was clearly impossible. Of course, that was not because they were too powerful. On the contrary, they were both too weak. However, Raymond had managed to plot Beelzebub this time. It was just like how the first thing a man might think when he saw a woman was sex. It was not like Beelzebub wanted to have sex with every dog he saw. It was coincidental that he had such a thought when he saw this golden retriever named Sasha. Haha, little guy, if you want Sasha, you need to work harder. Looking at Beelzebub's action, Ethan burst into laughter. Beelzebub was so mad that he ran directly up the stairs. This was really too embarrassing. He did not mind losing face in front of Chen Zhao, but this time he was actually humiliated in front of Ethan, a petty human. When Chen Zhao returned to his room, he discovered that Beelzebub was nowhere to be seen. Where is he? His scent has already disappeared. This bastard has scrammed back to hell. It's indeed a perfect day. Raymond was extremely satisfied with the outcome. I think you have crossed the line just now. To demons, even fighting and killing each other were acceptable, not to mention a mere joke, Raymond said, unconcerned. If someone sneaks into the room, can you discover the person? Chen Zhao did not really care if the incident had hurt Beelzebub's self-esteem. He was more worried about his own safety at the moment. A dangerous female killer who hated him so much was wandering outside. Chen Zhao was very anxious as that beautiful killer might appear beside him at any time. Nope, my senses are not too different from an ordinary snake. Chen Zhao was discouraged. But, what's that heavy feeling? Not right. This feeling is very abnormal. Chen Zhao suddenly opened his eyes, but what he saw was not his room. Instead, it was a dim world filled with black, withered trees. A red and black mountain could be seen in the distance, while the suffocating smell of sulfur permeated the air. An enormous and bloated organism with large wings and protruding horns fell down from the sky and landed before Chen Zhao. Without any hesitation, Chen Zhao shouted, "Beelzebub? Yes, it's me, human. Welcome to hell." "Did you summon me here?" Chen Zhao asked, uncertain. At the same time, he inspected his surrounding. Yes, I offered 100 souls. That was all my savings. Also, I took one of your things earlier. Beelzebub opened his hand and Zhao saw a scalpel there. So why did you summon me here? Human, you better realize that our identities have already swapped. Swallow your pride. If I punch you, roll 3 rounds. 1, 2, 3. Seems like nothing about our identities has changed. You're still a demon servant controlled by me. Zhao grinned. Fine. I only summoned you here as my guest. Do you want to visit my house? How do we get there? Is it far? Come up to my palm. Beelzebub's original form was a giant monster which was 6 meters tall. It was completely different from his projection in the human world, a Shar-Pei. Zhao sat on Beelzebub's palm. He had to agree that it was a special feeling. It was very different from riding a plane. It felt more like sitting on the roof of a skyscraper. His feet hung freely in the air. Of course, it was actually quite safe. At least Beelzebub would not suddenly throw him down. What's your impression of hell? Pretty similar to what I've expected. Beelzebub's house was precisely on the mountainside of the red and black mountain Zhao had seen earlier. It was a cave. A female demon who was about the same size as Zhao walked out from the cave. She had a demonic horn on the left of her forehead and some scales on her body. Her upper body was naked, while her lower body was covered in a material which Zhao could not identify. Zhao had to agree that this female demon was very beautiful in the normal human definition of beautiful. She must be Beelzebub's wife. Beelzebub, where did you find this soul? Looks different from the food we've had before. Hello, lady. I'm Beelzebub's friend. Friend? The female demon looked at Beelzebub. You became friends with food? Ada, shut up. You stupid, inferior demon. He's not food. He came from the human world. A completely living organism. He's not like the defective ones that we normally eat. Hearing Beelzebub's words, Zhao did not know whether he should be happy or sad. Beelzebub, although in principle I can understand why you eat human souls, I can't accept it emotionally. I can't change this fact, but can you not speak about it in front of me? No. You're different from them. They're only fragments which have lost everything. Oh my God, you're a living thing? The female demon was petrified before she charged forward and stood before Zhao. The Almighty sorry, do you see it? There's a living human in my house. What a glory! Sari was her great-great-great-grandmother and also her master, a Banshee queen. But just like what you've already known, there's still some difference between her and me, a subordinate of Beelzebub, the king of gluttony. Back then she offered me 30 souls so that she could marry me. Beelzebub was clearly very proud of his bloodline. After all, Beelzebub was the king of gluttony, one of the 7 great demon kings. Nevertheless, Beelzebub himself was not a powerful demon. Although he called himself a demon lord, he was only the lord of a small village at the foot of the mountain. Ada had changed her attitude entirely. Zhao had no idea that the living was so popular in hell. Human, this is the dinner that I've prepared for you. Trust me, it's of the highest standard. Blarg. Zhao started puking right away. What are those things on the table? There was a basin-sized bowl filled with screaming ghost faces that were boiling continuously. Beside the bowl was a plate with a few hands that were toasted to distortion on it. They did not seem to be human hands, but they were very similar. And what's the thing wiggling in the other bowl? Seems like you don't like the local food in hell. Do you have normal food? Beelzebub, stop acting. You know my habits. Human habits. Zhao was certain that Beelzebub did this on purpose as a revenge to his occasional torture in the human world. Chapter 28, First Time Feeling Respected Everywhere. Chapter 28, First Time Feeling Respected Everywhere. In reality, the only food similar between hell and the human world was alcohol. However, the ingredients used to brew it were different, so it had a different taste. At least, nothing strange happened when Zhao drank it. This is wine that only us gluttons can enjoy. What do you think compared to human wine? It's good, but it seems to have a fishy taste. Do you make it with blood? Indeed. The main liquid is blood from the misfortune goat of hell. Are there any side effects? Whether you're a human or demon, you'll have some misfortune the first time you drink it. Misfortune? Will I run into trouble? You'll understand later. Why do I feel so unsettled now? Human, I know you ran into some small trouble, so I think this will give you some small help. Zhao squinted at Beelzebub. What's your motive? Just then, Beelzebub took out a strange black blade and stabbed it into the table before Zhao. What do you mean? This is my demonic ritual implement. For me. Yes, for you. How will this affect me? It won't. I promise it won't affect you at all. I don't believe you. Hold this the next time you summon me. What will happen? This way, you can summon more of my strength. I can help you do more things too. I can even help you take care of that female killer. Oh, no problem. Zhao happily yanked the black blade out. When it fell into his hand, it transformed into a small dagger, not much bigger than a fruit knife. Oh right, didn't you say that you already have 15 kids? Where are your kids? How come I don't see them? Are you sure you want to see my kids? Is there a problem? Ada, let my children out. Let them out? What does that mean? Ada picked up a wooden stick and knocked on the mountain wall. Rustles sounded deep inside the cave. Then Zhao saw a group of fat balls of meat crawl out. Zhao jumped right onto the table. They looked like larvae but hundreds of times bigger. Each one was around 20 or 30 pounds, all white and fat. Those they? Yes, they're my children. Would they turn into what you or your wife looks like after they mature? Zhao imagined a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. They might turn into other things. Perhaps? What do you mean, perhaps? Ada and I are different races. It's possible that our children will inherit mine or her lineage, but it's more possible that they'll turn into demonic beasts. Demonic beasts? What's that like? Did you see a group of things with black wings in the forest when you came in? Zhao remembered. When he'd been sitting on Beelzebub's hand, he'd indeed saw a group of beasts running through the forest. However, they all had different features. Other than the black wings, they looked completely different. Zhao thought that they were different races. Those demonic beasts are my brothers. Zhao's mouth dropped open. They're your brothers? Not only were they the same race, they even had the same dad. And yet, their brother was sitting right before him right now. If they weren't my brothers, I'd have killed them when they entered my territory. After I received my inheritance from my father, I also became responsible for taking care of my brothers. The 20 brothers who couldn't inherit the lineage were given to me to take care of and give them a place to live. After a pause, Beelzebub said, most of these kids will become demonic beasts in the future and given to the brothers with the lineage to take care of. So the demons who can't get the lineage will just live aimlessly like this their entire lives? What's so bad about it? Someone will take care of them. How old are they now? 6 months already. Next month, we'll know if which ones haven't inherited mine or Ada's lineage. Beelzebub took out a tiny demonic crystal. Crush this and mix it into their food. Will the demonic crystal be effective for them? It's more likely for our lineage to be activated in them. Are you full? Want to go out and walk around? Is it dangerous? This is my territory, so you won't run into any danger. Actually, as a living being, you basically won't be hurt by any demons. So living beings are respected in hell? Not respected. You're just rare. The last human who came to hell was 900 years ago. Even a demon king won't do anything to you if they see you. I can promise that. We demons have a strong desire for destruction, but all our killing and destruction are goal-oriented. In that case, let's go and walk around. Zhao was quite curious about hell. Beelzebub took Zhao to his territory. It was called Black Mountain Village at the foot of the mountain. There were about 100 demon families in Black Mountain Village. Of course, there were many demons because they were good at producing. One family, one couple could produce more than 1,000 children. Just like in the human society, the more children there were, the heavier the burden. Not every race matured as quickly as Beelzebub's kids, maturing completely in 6 or 7 months. Lord Vito, Are you here to supervise your territory? A demon with big ears stood at the village's entrance, welcoming Beelzebub. The big-eared demon's ears were like palm leaf fans. His frame was much bigger than a human. He was more than 10 feet tall. However, he was only half the size of Beelzebub. His weight was only 1/10 of Beelzebub too. No, this is my friend. He's a living being from the human world. I'm bringing him around on a tour. A living being? The big-eared demon looked at Zhao. Hello, most respected living being. Your arrival fills Black Mountain Village with honor. The last esteemed guest was the Nightmare Lord from 300 years ago, but you are much more esteemed than him. Please allow me to give you my most genuine respect. You flatter me. I'm very happy to visit hell. This is my demonic ritual implement. If you can accept it, it would be the greatest gift to me. The big-eared demon offered up a strange-looking wooden staff with both hands. There was some kind of jewel on the staff. He's a Singener that isn't subordinate to anyone, which is the lowest of all demon types. But if you want to, you can summon and use him whenever you wish. You don't have to give any sacrifices, but if you're happy, you can give him some rewards. Summon at will? Is it different from summoning you? I'm subordinate to Beelzebub, the king of gluttony. Don't compare him to me. However, Singeners have some advantages too. What advantages? He had a noble lineage a few generations ago, but they kept crossbreeding. It's like mine and Ada's descendants crossbreeding with demons of other lineages. After many generations, the lineage will be completely messed up. Then it can be like him, where one of his lineages suddenly awakens, and he has some kind of ability. For example, he has big ears. I don't know which lineage it is, but it allows him to have better hearing. Of course, if you use him purely as combat power, he can face 5 humans by himself. Okay, I accept your demonic ritual implement. Chapter 29, Substitute Coin. Chapter 29, Substitute Coin. Zhao walked into the village, where over 10 demons had already gathered. They were all Singeners with multifarious looks. The honored living, can you accept my demonic ritual implement? I'm willing to give you my life. I'll not retreat even in the face of a god. The almighty living, this is my demonic ritual implement. My strength is limitless and I can become your best fighter. There was already a demon who was shamelessly describing Zhao as being almighty. However, the demon who had claimed himself to be all-powerful was only a dwarf. He was at most 4 meters tall despite being quite burly indeed. You must be the sage from the human world. Please accept my demonic ritual implement. I can almost see Satan's blessing circling around you. Please accept my demonic ritual implement. Zhao was forced to accept over 10 demonic ritual implements, all of which were from Singeners. Of course, only Singeners lived in the village. Those with noble bloodlines would not stay in such a desolate place anyway. Almost every demon who had a demonic ritual implement gave one to Zhao. Demonic ritual implements were formed when demons injected their own powers into something. Those with high status would clearly use expensive materials. For example, Beelzebub's black blade seemed to be exquisitely designed. On the other hand, Singeners were powerless and poor, so the materials they would use were also very ordinary. It could be a shining stone, a demonic plant, or even just the soil in hell. Demonic ritual implements contained a portion of the demon's powers. They could also be used to summon demons. In hell, when a demon offered his ritual implement to a superior demon, he was effectively devoting himself to the superior demon. The superior demon could use the ritual implement to summon him at any time and any place. Therefore, when the Singeners gave their demonic ritual implements to Zhao, they were pledging loyalty to him. However, Zhao would not be able to enslave these Singeners like a superior demon, because these inferior demons were unable to stay in the human world for too long. They could perhaps stay for an hour or a day, but not much longer than that. They seemed to be so passionate only because items in the human world were extremely precious in hell. Even a potted plant could mean a lot of profit to them, provided the plant could survive in hell. To be honest, they were just like foreign workers to Zhao. Compared to these Singeners who had demonic ritual implements, there was another group of Singeners who did not even have the power to create one. Their bodies were fragile, perhaps similar to a human, or even weaker. Although they also wished to be recognized by Chen Zhao, they knew that it was highly unlikely. If the former were like the poor, the latter were like refugees. In any case, they were also curious about the differences between the fabled living and the incomplete souls they could occasionally obtain. Beelzebub, did my soul or body enter hell? Body, can humans survive the environment in hell? No, it's just that you are protected by the rules. If one day you are powerful enough to open the gate to hell, you will still not be able to survive in hell. It's just like how I, a demon, must turn into a human world species when entering the human world. Such a change is passive, not something I can decide. If I enter the human world in my true demonic form, I'll die very quickly just like a fish out of water. You know how in many human films, there's always a villain who wants to open the gate to hell and release demons into the human world to create chaos. Are they all fake? If there's really someone who can open the gate to hell for an extended period of time, he can indeed create some chaos. The atmosphere of hell will gush into the human world and create a hell-like environment in a region. However, it's clearly impossible to affect an entire country or even the whole world. Not even demon kings can do that. Suddenly, an emaciated, green-skinned demon walked up to Chen Zhao and Beelzebub. The great Lord Vito and the noble living. I'm the humble Raz. Can I offer you a trade? What trade? He's a demon goblin. They all like to collect weird things and trade them everywhere. What do you have? This is my fine collection, a talking mirror. I heard that there's a story in the human world about someone whom I think is called Snow White. In the story, there's a magic mirror which can speak. My mirror isn't that magical, but it can speak. Don't be tricked. This talking mirror is made by simply imprisoning a soul in the mirror. It's worthless and nobody knows when the soul will dissipate. If you don't like the talking mirror, I still have a wish ring. Look, this ring contains a powerful demonic spirit. He can fulfill many wishes. Chen Zhao looked at Beelzebub. Is this real? Of course not. It's actually just a demonic spirit which knows illusion spells. Moreover, before we even talk about whether the demonic spirit can really fulfill wishes, if you bring the ring back to the human world and then summon the spirit, it will die immediately. After all, only a handful of demons can survive in the human world, like a large demon or a demon king, or something like the Soulbringers. Chen Zhao stared at the green-skinned demon Raz. Are you trying to fool me? Don't you have something that's actually useful? Yes, of course I do. But may I ask what price you're willing to pay, the honored living? If you have something, show me first. I don't even know what it is, and you're already bargaining with me? I have a substitute coin. Please take a look. Lord Vito, you too. Oh, it's really a substitute coin. Beelzebub took the substitute coin in surprise. What's its use? It can block fatal damage for you once. Huh, that sounds great. Does it have any flaws? It has restrictions on the user, that is, it's useless for organisms which are too powerful, like me, but it should work fine for you. Chen Zhao took the substitute coin. How much do you want? The humble I hope to obtain at least 1 year worth of demonic crystals. Chen Zhao glanced at Beelzebub. Did you tell him that I have demonic crystals? Last time, I used demonic crystals to purchase something from him, so he might have guessed it. He's a profiteer. So do you think this price is reasonable? Yes. Each of you gets what you want. Demonic crystals are priceless for us demons, but you have plenty of those, while the substitute coin is also extraordinarily useful to you, so I think it's acceptable. Each takes what he needs. All right, I accept this trade, but I don't have any demonic crystals with me now. Help me pay for it first. Do I get any interest? No. Chapter 30. I'm also someone who has once died. Chapter 30. I'm also someone who has once died. Finally, Chen Zhao bought some substitute coins from the green-skin demon. Respected living being, this is my demonic ritual implement. Of course, I am unable to fight for you in any battle, but I still have many good things, so you can summon me whenever needed. The green-skinned demon offered up a ring embedded with a green gem. Chen Zhao didn't reject him. After all, he'd already accepted so many demonic ritual implements. One more didn't mean much. Chen Zhao left the village with a bag of demonic ritual implements. Beelzebub, if others get demonic ritual implements, would they be able to summon the demons too? Demons aren't as easy as you think. They acknowledge you because you came to hell. They think you're a respected existence, but other humans are just lowly existences to them. After all, most of them have eaten human souls before. All right. Chen Zhao suddenly realized that his hand was gone. What the heck, my hand? My body? What's going on? I think time is up. It's a pity. I'd wanted to bring you to more places. It's already up? It's only been 3 hours, right? Chen Zhao's eyes flew open. The next moment, he realized that he was already back in his motel room. The moment after that, he felt pain in his chest. Looking down, he saw a giant hole in his chest. A few seconds later, he heard a super loud sound. It was a gunshot. At the same time, around 900 feet away in a 6th floor building across from the motel, Kelly put away her sniper after confirming that Chen Zhao was dead. It was a SG-1 sniper with an effective range of above 2,500 feet. The bullet could practically destroy targets within 900 feet. That bullet had hit Chen Zhao square in the chest. Even if it didn't hit his heart, he was still 100% dead. I said I would come back for revenge. Goodbye, cute boy. Crash. Ethan kicked the door open. It was already midnight, but he'd still heard the gunshot and he knew that it was a sniper. Chen, are you okay? Ethan looked at Chen Zhao on the bed and also saw a huge hole in the wall to the right of the bed. Chen Zhao climbed up blearily. Ethan, what time is it? Is there a client? Thank God that you're all right. What just happened? Look here. Chen Zhao turned around and saw the shocking hole in the wall beside the bed. Suddenly, he remembered everything. It was all back. He'd been shot. He'd been killed. Seeing Chen Zhao's pale face, Ethan thought that he was scared. Ethan pulled the curtains closed and said, Chen, change your room. At least, find one that doesn't have a window facing out. Chen Zhao's expression grew more and more uncomfortable. Ethan, I'm fine. Let me calm down. His limbs hidden under the covers were trembling. I was killed. I was killed. I was killed. Chen, how are you? I'm okay. Are you sure you're okay? Yes, I'm sure. I'm going to change your room now. No need. I think that the killer left. Are you sure? Maybe they're still here. I know what I'm doing. Ethan, you can go now. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Okay, then I'll go. Call me whenever needed. After Ethan left, Chen Zhao looked at the demonic ritual implements in the bag beside him. Big-eared demon? Nope. Banshee? Nope. Bakuman? Nope. Bloody hunter? This one's it. Chen Zhao remembered that this bloody hunter had said that he could track down any enemy. Chen Zhao picked up the demonic ritual implement, which was a dog's fang. In reality, bloody hunters were like werewolves, but they had a dog's head with a man's body. They were more like Anubis from ancient Egyptian mythology. A crazily huge bull terrier appeared before Chen Zhao. Most bull terriers were less than 70 centimeters and 50 pounds. However, the bull terrier that the bloody hunter had transformed into was more than a foot tall. It looked more like a tiger with a dog's head instead of a dog. Respected living being, thank you for summoning me. Chen Zhao rose and took a 1-year demonic crystal from his metallic box. I need you to capture someone for me, a female human. If you can find her, then this demonic crystal is yours. The bloody hunter stood up to his full height of 7 feet and bowed to Chen Zhao. Your will is my courage. I will bring her to you. This is the bullet she left behind. Can you find her? The bloody hunter picked the bullet up with his mouth and bit down. No problem. I can sense her. Crash. The bloody hunter broke through the window and disappeared into the night. Ethan ran into the room again. Chen, what happened? Did the killer come back? No, it's nothing. It was just the wind. Ethan's expression darkened, as if saying, don't trick me just because I'm honest. The wind isn't that strong here. Plus, the glass shards obviously mean something broke it from the inside. Ethan, can you go out? I hope that you won't come in again, even if there's more noise from my room. Chen, you won't kill yourself, right? You're still young. Don't worry, I'll find someone tomorrow to take care of this for you. I swear I'll help you with this. Oh please, I won't kill myself. After that attack, I fear death even more now. Are you sure you won't? I'm very sure. All right. Remember, please don't come in no matter what happens. What are you going to do? Zhao chuckled. Revenge? Kelly was driving a convertible down the highway in the suburbs. She was in a good mood. Destroying an enemy felt awesome. Suddenly, she saw something flash beside the road. A hallucination? Kelly didn't really care, but an uncomfortable feeling suddenly besieged her. This caused her to accelerate. There were pretty much no other cars on the highway at midnight. It was even less likely for there to be police. Suddenly, there was some animal standing on the road, a few hundred feet away in her car's headlights. Kelly instinctively turned her steering wheel. The car spun out of control, so she hurriedly stepped on the brake. Looking back, there was nothing there. But the unsettled feeling grew stronger. It was like something was approaching her, getting closer, closer. Chapter 31, Demon Profiteer. Chapter 31, Demon Profiteer. All of a sudden, Kelly felt a shiver run up her spine. It's here. That thing is here. Kelly smelled a bloody odor. At once, she lifted her gun and pointed behind her. An enormous beast stood on the trunk lid. Because it was dark, Kelly could not see it clearly. Lion? No way. How can there be lions in Los Angeles? Bang! Bang! Kelly fired 2 shots consecutively, but the thing was even faster and dodged the bullets in one move. At the same time, it pounced at Kelly. Horrified, Kelly struck the beast's head with the gun stock. The thing was only momentarily staggered. In the next instant, its fully opened mouth bit onto her arm. In severe pain, Kelly started to struggle wildly, but she was much weaker than the monster before her. Although she had had intense, special training before, she was still a human after all. There was no way she could fight against a beast that was at least 5 meters long and weighed over 200 kilograms. To make things worse, this beast also had terrifying teeth and razor-sharp claws. Soon, Kelly's left arm became weak. Kelly was dragged out of the car. She felt that she was about to be swallowed. However, the monster did not eat her yet. It bit onto her neck and dragged her towards an unknown place. After running for perhaps more than 10 kilometers, the monster began howling at the sky. Howl? Is this a wolf? Clearly not. Its size doesn't match, and it's way too ugly. Maybe it's a biochemical monster. Kelly had already started imagining things. Suddenly, Kelly vaguely saw a person walking towards her. She shouted right away, "Help! Help! Help me!" Seeming to have heard her voice, that person walked closer to her. "Are you calling me? Help! There's a monster! Save me!" Kelly was not hoping that the person could save her, and she also did not think about why the person would be on the outskirts at this time. Nevertheless, she was confident that she could escape when the monster started attacking the incomer. As the person approached her, Kelly felt more and more excited. To her great puzzlement, however, the monster beside her neither hid nor attacked the intruder. The person had definitely already seen her and the monster beside her, but he did not seem to realize that something was wrong. Instead, he continued walking forward. Closer and closer. Kelly smelled something fishy. How could he not see the giant beast beside her? Finally, Kelly saw the incomer clearly. "You. No way. Chen." Kelly's expression changed drastically. She had just used a sniper rifle to blast his body into pieces. She saw it with her own eyes, and there was no way she could have mistaken it. However, Zhao was actually standing before her at the moment, unharmed. Surprise! Grinning, Zhao stood before Kelly. "You seem to be injured, gravely injured." Zhao glanced at the monster beside him and petted its head gently. "He's my friend. Seems like you've already met." Finally, Kelly could no longer remain calm. She flung herself up from the ground in an attempt to seize Chen Zhao. However, the bloody hunter struck its claw out and sent Kelly flying. Chen Zhao stood still. In fact, he was hesitating. How should he handle Kelly? Kill her? No way. He was a doctor, not a killer. Chen Zhao had never thought about killing someone. He had summoned the bloody hunter only because of temporary fury. After calming down, he fell into a dilemma instead. Stop saying something like a tooth for a tooth. After all, Chen Zhao was still a mere human. But to let her go? That seemed to be inappropriate as well. What if she comes back again and shoots me? Chen Zhao only had one substitute coin, and he used it before it even got warm in his pockets. If he was shot again, he would surely die. What do I do now? Hunter, do you eat humans? No, I only eat human souls. Kelly could understand Chen Zhao's question, but not Bloody Hunter's answer. Therefore, she was scared out of her wits when the bloody hunter turned its head and stared at her. It's so frightening. I should just grit my teeth and kill her directly. Bloody hunter, I don't really want to kill anyone now, but I'm afraid of her revenge. Is there a way for her to never harass me in the future? Howl. Kelly had absolutely no idea how Chen Zhao communicated with the monster before him, the so-called bloody hunter. He seemed to be able to understand the monster's words, which caused Kelly to be even more creeped out. Yes, but I can't cast it. You need blood brand. What's blood brand? It's a type of demonic sorcery. To prevent subordinate demons from betraying, a superior demon will apply blood brand on its subordinates. If the superior demon dies, so will all the inferior demons under it. What if the subordinate demons die? The superior demon will not be harmed at all. So who knows this demonic spell? You can ask Raz. Perhaps he sells this kind of spell scrolls. After consideration, Chen Zhao touched the ring on his hand. Then, Kelly saw a green monster walk out from the shadows. The green-skinned beast was not heavily built, but it had many sharp teeth in its mouth, a pair of protruding horns on its head, and a tail behind it. Raz, do you have a spell scroll for Bloodbrand? Is this the human world? It's my first time here. Quick, do you have a scroll for Bloodbrand? Yes. Please wait. Raz took out a scroll out of nowhere and gave it to Chen Zhao. Thank you for your purchase. 1 month worth of demonic crystals, please. Kelly watched as Chen Zhao talked to the monster, which was giving off weird noises. She had no idea what it was saying. I forgot to bring any. Can I owe you first? Of course, but you need to pay me interest. That's troublesome. The respectable living. I have a spatial ring. Do you need it? Spatial ring? The kind that can carry many items? Yes, its interior is about the size of a room. I have traded it from a demonic dragon at a high price, so it's not going to be cheap. How much does it cost? 100 years worth of demonic crystals. So expensive? Of course, but the price is definitely reasonable. You can ask Lord Vito. I don't have that much demonic crystals at the moment. I'll buy it in the future when I have enough. You can owe me first. Pay me within a year with an additional 10 years worth of demonic crystals. Let me think about it. 100 years worth of demonic crystals was not a small amount. After all, so far Chen Zhao had only obtained about 20 years worth of demonic crystals in total. Chapter 32. What if I want to gain weight? Chapter 32. What if I want to gain weight? How do I use it? Chen Zhao held the scroll and stood before Kelly. She stared at Chen Zhao in fear. Raz and the bloody hunter were at his side. To Kelly, Chen Zhao had become a mysterious being. It's simple. Let a drop of her blood fall on the scroll and then burn the scroll to ashes. Then she'll never be able to hurt you again. What if she goes against the contract? She'll be devoured by the demon insect from hell. Kelly didn't understand what this green-skinned creature was saying to Chen Zhao, but she knew it couldn't be good. Just then, the bloody hunter suddenly clawed Kelly's back. Kelly couldn't even fight back. Her back was already bleeding profusely. After Chen Zhao wetted the scroll with blood, he ignited it with a lighter. When the scroll burned to ashes, Chen Zhao bent down and smiled at Kelly. You might not understand what just happened. Put simply, I put a curse on you. If you try killing me again, I'll make you die even more tragically. If the two beasts beside him didn't exist, Kelly would think this supernatural stuff was a joke. However, she didn't find it funny at all right now. Chen Zhao looked serious. His actions earlier were very strange too. You two can go back to hell? Kelly watched the two beasts bow their heads to Chen Zhao, and then their bodies disappeared gradually. You're Satan, the devil. Think whatever you want. Just remember not to piss me off anymore. Chen, how come you're up so early? Did you go for a morning jog again? Yeah, the air is always so fresh in the morning. Someone tried to kill you 3 hours ago, and you still went out for a run? Perhaps the killer thinks they killed me already? There aren't any killers that stupid in the world. Trust me, it's best if you find a place to hide now. At least, don't expose yourself in broad daylight. I can't do that. I have a client today, that old white guy. That's $100,000 of income. All right, I'm jealous. But before that, you have to treat another client. He lives in Beverly Hills too. How much money? $1,000. Okay, give me the address. Chen Zhao couldn't be picky now. He couldn't give up on a $1,000 job just because he had a $100,000 job. The most important thing now was to accumulate connections and clients. His income seemed nice now, but it still wasn't stable. After all, most of them were one-time clients. Only Rasfa counted as a long-term client. He was special too. Only he relied on demonic crystals. He'd been about to die and could only live by using demonic crystals. It won't be some female killer again, right? It seems like I keep running into this stuff these days. Up to now, Chen Zhao had met 3 very beautiful women who all turned out to be killers. This annoyed Chen Zhao. He just wanted to meet a pretty girl who wanted to sleep with him. That wasn't a difficult requirement. Why couldn't it come true? After washing up, Chen Zhao took his equipment and left. He arrived at Beverly Hills and went to the client's house. The house and position was clearly incomparable to Rasfa's super fancy mansion. However, every manor in Beverly Hills had its unique points. This was a smaller house, but the monthly rent would be at least $20,000. This was a conservative estimate too. It didn't have a huge garden, but the environment was still what people dreamed of having. Chen Zhao pressed the doorbell. There was a speaker above the doorbell. Who are you? It was a woman. She sounded quite young too. Chen Zhao looked up at the security camera before the metal gate. I'm the doctor. Ethan told me to come. Click. The door unlocked automatically. You can come in, the speaker said. Chen Zhao entered the manor. There were a few hundred square meters of greenery in the manor. There was also a pool before the house. The house itself was of a modern style. The woman was lying on a recliner before the pool, clad in a bikini. Her copper skin was very sexy, but her figure was a bit thin. There was a walkie-talkie beside her. Sit anywhere. I'm Chen Zhao. You can call me Chen. What can I call you? Chen Zhao asked. Yafin Livana. If you pay attention to showbiz, you should know me. Why did you bring a dog? This is my working habit. I like to bring it around. It saves me time from walking it. Miss Yafin, how may I help you today? Yafin moved on from that question. I need to gain weight. I accepted the audition for the female lead of a big production, but my body is quite different from the character. She's like a superwoman and needs muscles, but you can see it too. I'm too thin now. Chen Zhao looked at her body. Her figure looked very unnatural. She was pretty, but the sickly thinness made her look like a toothpick person with a big head. You took diet pills, right? Yes. This explained it. There were 2 types of diet pills now. The first was legal. They were tested products and relatively safe. However, it took a while for them to become effective and weren't that effective either. Of course, they had lighter side effects too. The other type was stronger but had much bigger side effects. They were illegal. They either couldn't be sold or weren't even licensed to be produced. However, there was a market, and if people wanted it, others would produce it. You could take the overconsumption of Xenical, for example. Xenical was used to decrease the absorption of fat, mostly used for those who regularly had high-fat diets. The usage of Xenical had always been debated because if overconsumed, it could cause physiological disorders. The user might even be completely unable to absorb fat. Another example was that many diet pills added large amounts of laxatives. The effect for this type was very obvious, but the consequences were serious too. Some girls would get eating disorders after using illegal diet pills. Some might even destroy their stomachs and be forced to live off glucose drips. They would need 1 or 2 years of treatment to gradually recover. Yafan was the type who used diet pills regularly. Some symptoms had already appeared in her. Chen Zhao could diagnose some of them with his naked eye. Of course, judging by her pallor, she already had a slight eating disorder. This wasn't good. If she was dependent upon diet pills, then there was an even worse consequence awaiting her. So, do you have a solution? Chen Zhao chuckled. Beelzebub was finally truly useful today. Of course, I will make you have an appetite today. What should I do? Turn around. I need to prick you with some needles. I mean, acupuncture. Okay, I do acupuncture often too. I like it. Women on diets were crazy. They would try anything to lose a pound. In reality, acupuncture could help with losing weight too, but it wasn't that effective. It mainly decreased the digestive abilities of the stomach. If something needed an hour to digest, it would take longer after acupuncture. That way, the person wouldn't feel hunger. However, it wasn't that useful to overweight women because most of them didn't eat because of hunger. Instead, they made eating a habit. Like how some people smoked, it was a problem of habit. These people would feel unsettled and emotionally unstable if they didn't have food. Chapter 33. Chen Zhao is a Trickster. Chapter 33. Chen Zhao is a Trickster. Very soon, Chen Zhao performed acupuncture on Yafan, completing freeing her digestive function. Then, the main contributor Beelzebub gave Yafan the desire for food. Acupuncture was not all-powerful. It could not give someone an appetite. However, Chen Zhao would never reject other methods, for example the power of demons. I feel somewhat hungry. Are you willing to eat something with me? Haha, I have been controlling my shape recently. Chen Zhao euphemistically rejected Yafan's suggestion. You have a great shape. Yafan reached out and touched Chen Zhao's chest muscle. I have already activated your taste buds using my treatment, but if you don't want to become fat, you better do an appropriate amount of exercise. At least 1 hour of aerobic exercise every day and half an hour of anaerobic exercise. You should eat food high in starch and protein. It can allow you to gain weight in the shortest time possible. Yafan needed to gain weight and achieve the shape of a bodybuilder, not to become fat. Chen Zhao believed that a lady who was so concerned about her beauty would know how to control her shape. Yafan's fingers slowly slid downwards. Then do an hour of aerobic exercise with me. Chen Zhao lowered his head and gently held Yafan's chin. His body also bent over. After an hour and a half, the two finished their battle. Chen Zhao put on his clothes properly. Are you sure you don't want to eat something with me? No. I still have another customer. Thank you for your patronage. $1,000 please. Fine. You're the first man to fuck me and take my money. You're also the first woman to accept my treatment and be fucked by me. Fuck. Hope that you can get that role. Thank you. Give me your number please. Chen Zhao picked up his toolbox and left with Beelzebub. Beelzebub, didn't you say that when I summon you with your demonic ritual implement, you would be stronger? My power is not reflected by my body. Now I have 1/3 of the power of my true form. If we meet that female killer again, can you finish her? Nope, but I can make her so hungry that she will eat the soil beneath her directly. Beelzebub, even if you were summoned by your demonic ritual implement this time, you're still no match for me. You are just a fool. You better be careful. Otherwise, I will bury you in the waste soil behind the motel, Beelzebub threatened. Chen Zhao never once interfered with their argument. After leaving Yafan's manor, Chen Zhao headed for Rasfa's place directly. Rasfa, I'm outside your manor now. Are you available for treatment? Yes, of course. I'll send Paul there to welcome you. Soon, Paul appeared and brought Chen Zhao into the manor. This time, Rasfa was much more respectful towards Chen Zhao. He did not say anything rude. Hi, Chen, you're finally here. Rasfa hugged Chen Zhao to welcome him. Do you want to drink anything? Perhaps red wine or whiskey? No, I don't want my mind to be affected during treatment. Let's start the session first. No problem. Rasfa also did not want to waste any time. That was because he clearly felt that his condition was worsening that day. Since the morning, he had been feeling uneasy. There had been a few times when he wanted to call Chen Zhao. He felt that he was going to die. This was common human nature. The closer one was to death, the more one would fear death. What do I need to do? Drink this first. Then I'll perform acupuncture. All right. The amount of demonic crystals used this time was significantly higher than the previous time. As Chen Zhao was treating Rasfa, Rasfa could clearly feel his vigor returning. Just then, a red-haired woman came into the room. Chen Zhao could recognize this woman whose name he recalled to be Rydra. Mr. Rasfa, what are you doing? Rydra was somewhat angry. Rasfa was lying on the sofa at the moment. He raised his head gently. Because his back was full of needles, he could not turn around directly. Rydra, I am being treated. Can't you tell? Rasfa had always disliked Rydra. In the past, he did not do anything to her so that she could send fake messages. At the same time, Rydra's medical skill was fantastic. However, he had already found a substitute at the moment, namely Chen Zhao. Chen Zhao could at least save him, while Rydra could only watch him lose his life gradually. Therefore, Rasfa would rather accept Chen Zhao's treatment than Rydra's suggestions. Treatment? Using this stupid acupuncture? Mr. Rasfa, please clear your mind. Acupuncture can't save you. Rydra apologized to Chen. I refuse. I wouldn't apologize to a trickster. Asian, you're a trickster. You're not a doctor. I have already done my investigation. This guy doesn't even have a medical license. Rasfa, you've been deceived. He doesn't have the ability to save you. Chen Zhao was oblivious to Rydra's aggressive words. He petted Rasfa's shoulder and muttered to him, Rasfa? Rasfa lowered his head and looked at his crotch. He could feel something. He could really feel something. The long-lost feeling was back again. That was a feeling almost forgotten by him. Rasfa's face flushed. Apart from the feeling down there, Rasfa no longer felt stuffy. He felt his body fill with energy. Chun, thank you. Mr. Rasfa, did he give you some medicine? You should know that your heart problem is extremely severe. You can't eat that kind of medicine as it'll kill you. If you listen to my suggestions, I can't allow you to live longer. A trickster's words will only kill you sooner. So how long do you think I can live? Rydra was speechless. During the examination 3 days ago, both she and the doctor in the hospital asserted that Rasfa would not survive that night, but he did. During the second examination, she concluded again that Rasfa would live for no more than a week. She was confident about her judgment, which she had obtained from a professional viewpoint. It did not involve any emotions or benefits. She believed that if Rasfa could listen to her instructions and advice, he might be able to live longer. But now Rasfa disliked her even more. He would rather listen to a trickster than her professional opinion. Rydra, I'm tired. Paul, send Rydra out. Oh yeah, ask Anna to go to my room. It needs some cleaning. Chun, do you need a room to rest? No, I need some food. All right, Paul, get Chun some food. During my rest, please take good care of Chun for me. Yes, sir. Trickster. You trickster. I'll call the police. You're practicing medicine illegally. If you confess to Mr. Rasfa now, I can consider letting you off. Ms. Rydra, Chun is only Mr. Rasfa's guest. I think nobody here will testify your words, Paul said emotionlessly. Chapter 34, Druid Chen. Chapter 34, Druid Chen. Rydra was asked to leave in anger. Of course, Paul was still respectful to her. After all, Rydra had been Rasfa's private doctor and health consultant for 5 years. Her contributions couldn't be overlooked. However, she also knew that she could only talk. After all, Rasfa or other victims of Chen Zhao had to be willing to be a witness to sue him. It would be difficult, or even impossible to find anyone as a witness. These people all went to Chen Zhao because of reasons they couldn't publicize. Why would they help be a witness for her? She could only wait for Rasfa's health to deteriorate again. She believed that it would dawn on Rasfa then. Chen Zhao ate happily in the restaurant. All the food in Rasfa's manor was of top quality. They weren't bought from supermarkets. They were supplied by special sources. Caviar from the Caspian Sea, French foie gras, beef. All of them were fine products. The manor also had a top chef, so every bite was top enjoyment. Chen Zhao also had Paul serving him and pouring wine for him. "Mr. Chen, will you take a walk on the beach?" "Sure." When he arrived at the beach, he saw a group of teenagers fooling around. There were also couples, and some people kissing under parasols. Wasn't this beach private property? How did these youngsters get in? "That's Mr. Rasfa's grandson and his friends," Paul said. Just then, a Doberman rushed over at Chen Zhao. No, more accurately, it was running toward the Shar-Pei Beelzebub at Chen Zhao's feet. "Fuck, that's Wolf." Paul was about to chase the Doberman away, but it was too late. Beelzebub had already charged. This clearly wasn't a friendly meeting because they repelled each other. Dobermans were large dogs and very menacing. In the past, they were mostly used as hunting dogs. Now, people didn't really hunt anymore, but the aggressive and aloof genes of a Doberman hadn't changed. In recent times, they were mostly used as fighting dogs and faced off similar dogs in the cruel and bloody ring. They had a clear understanding of their companions and strangers. It was very difficult for them to become friends with unfamiliar dogs. They weren't friendly with everyone like huskies. If another male dog appeared in their territory, the dog would become their target. A Shar-Pei's combat ability was only half of a Doberman's. Shar-Peis were only 1/3 of a Doberman's weight and half of their height. After all, one was a mid-sized dog while the other was large-sized. It wasn't hard for Paul to imagine what would happen. The youngsters also realized then that their Doberman and Chen Zhao's Shar-Pei seemed to have some conflict. The two dogs barked madly at each other. Instead of stopping the Doberman, the teens started yelling excitedly. "Wolf, tear that guy up. Come on, hurry up. I bet $100 that the little guy will get ripped up in a minute. I bet $100 it'll only take 30 seconds. Wolf is a warrior from the rings." "I'm guessing 10 seconds. Chen Zhao called out. "I don't like gambling, but I like winning. In 10 seconds, my Beelzebub will defeat that idiot." "Hey, Asian, how much are you betting?" "I'll also bet $100. "Are you sure you want to throw away 100? It's just a Shar-Pei." "Beelzebub, don't kill him." "A wool." Beelzebub was furious. How could a human's toy dare to provoke him? This was an utter insult. Wolf instantly felt danger. It wanted to retreat, but it was too late. Beelzebub had already tackled Wolf, biting Wolf's neck at the same time. If he applied a bit more pressure, Wolf would die. Wolf couldn't move anymore. It had been domesticated, but as a beast, it was still sensitive to danger. It could sense that Beelzebub's danger was completely different from any other dog. What? How is this possible? When did Wolf become so weak? "Paul, please bring my medical kit over." "Yes, Mr. Chen." Shortly, Paul brought Chen Zhao's kit over. Chen Zhao walked to Beelzebub and Wolf. He kicked Beelzebub aside and patched up Wolf's injury. Wolf wouldn't attack humans. This was the result of domestication. It had already lost most of its wildness. Plus, it could sense Chen Zhao's friendliness. Chen Zhao patted Wolf. "Go back to your master." Just then, Rasfa's grandson walked out. Wolf returned to him and wagged its tail, but it seemed to be sad. "I'm Daniel. What's your name?" "Chen." "Chen?" "Just call me Chen. Let's hang out. Your Shar-Pei is powerful. Will you sell it?" "Sorry, I'm afraid he won't accept a second master." "All right, tell me how you train it. Or are all Shar-Peis so powerful?" "Only he's a bit more powerful. I didn't purposely train him. Maybe it's because he was on the streets and fought with the other strays before I found him." "I see. So are strays more powerful? Seems like I should go adopt one." Snake, snake? Hiss, hiss." Since Chen Zhao was talking to Daniel, A girl went to open Chen Zhao's medical kit and saw a snake curled up inside. That's Raymond. My other snake? Raymond climbed out of the kit. Seeing how Chen Zhao didn't seem to mind, Daniel asked, "Are you sure it won't get lost? Reptiles aren't as smart as dogs." Raymond had been slithering around, but it suddenly turned around and darted toward Daniel. "Ah, it's coming. You better run." You angered it. "What? Snakes can't understand us talking." "No, they can't even hear. It's impossible." Seeing Raymond rushing over, Daniel immediately ran away. Raymond chased after him without stop. "Damn it, guys, help me. Save me. That snake's attacking me." Paul stood beside Chen Zhao. "Mr. Chen, are you sure it's okay? Don't worry. My Raymond is very obedient. It won't bite anyone without my command." Paul knew that Chen Zhao brought his two pets wherever he went. He'd even released them when he went to Rasva's hospital room. "Chen, save me. Hurry and save me." Chapter 35, Doesn't Mean I'm Going to Be Your Stepfather. Chapter 35, Doesn't Mean I'm Going to Be Your Stepfather. You need to apologize to him. This is so dumb. I'm not going to. Okay, fine. I'm sorry. I was wrong, Mr. Raymond. I was wrong. Indeed, Raymond stopped the chase. Daniel and his friends were all stunned. "Oh my God. God, did you see that? Did you see that? This snake actually understands it. This can't be real. Raymond, you idiot." A friend of Daniel did not believe it. Then, Raymond turned around and headed towards him directly. "Oh no, he understands me. He's coming for me. I'm sorry. I was wrong." Raymond let that person off. At this moment, the entire group of young people was totally bewildered. "Chen, tell me how you've managed to train Beelzebub till he's so strong, and a snake till he's so clever. Are you a wizard?" "No, you're a druid." "Yes, only this can explain everything." "You might need to ask their previous owners. In fact, I've adopted both Raymond and Beelzebub." "I don't believe it. Which fool would throw them away?" "This is the reality. Can I touch Raymond?" "Raymond, do you mind?" Chen Zhao looked at Raymond, who was in the distance. Raymond slowly crawled forward and stopped before Daniel. Daniel was still somewhat scared of Raymond, but he still extended his hand out. Then, Raymond climbed up Daniel's hand. "God, he's really too smart. Chen, sell him to me, please. Snakes are my favorite, especially Raymond." "Ask him yourself if he's willing." "Raymond, are you willing to live with me?" Raymond raised his head, after which he shook his head. God, God, God. I like him more and more." Of course, although Daniel admired Raymond, he was not planning to get Raymond by force. After all, he had been through elite education. Perhaps he was just somewhat indulgent, which was a common characteristic of the teenagers in this country. However, having been through elite education, he would not allow himself to establish enemies easily, even an ordinary-looking Asian. Those wealthy kids who want to kill all their enemies after a small dispute would only appear in novels, not the real world. Daniel was clearly more interested in the two pets than Chen Zhao. Actually, everyone present was more interested in Raymond and Beelzebub than Chen Zhao, including Paul. "Daniel, don't you have lesson today?" Just then, Zola walked over. Zola was Daniel's mother. At the moment, Zola was wearing a white business wear. Unlike the last time, today her hair had been permed. "Chun, you're here as well. Nice. I have been experiencing chest tightness recently. Can you help me to take a look?" "No problem. Chun, can you leave Raymond and Beelzebub here temporarily?"
Sure.
Chun Zhao left with Zola. The two of them entered a random bedroom, after which they started making out. Actually, Chun Zhao was indeed examining Zola's body. Women that were about 40 years old had the greatest desire. At the same time, they were also the most experienced ones. "How's my father?" "We've already completed today's session. Why didn't I see him at his place?" "He's in the bedroom. I don't think he has the habit of sleeping in the day. In fact, he doesn't spend much time sleeping at all." "With a maid? All right, let's do it one more time. Okay?" "Of course, as you wish." Zola was a very attractive woman. Even though she was no longer young, she knew how to display her feminine charm. Of course, Chen Zhao was not planning to become Daniel's stepfather, and Zola was also not planning to let Chen Zhao become her fourth husband. They were only taking what each of them needed. All of a sudden, the door was pushed open. They saw a girl standing outside. Then, they heard a loud scream. This was the first time Chen Zhao had come into contact with a shy female after he arrived in Los Angeles. Fine, perhaps it was because she looked only about 16, or maybe even younger. After all, European and American girls experience puberty earlier than Asian girls. Darling, why did you come in without knocking? At the moment, Chen Zhao and Zola were still in an awkward position. Zola's legs were on top of Chen Zhao's shoulders. I heard that you were here. The maid told me that you're in this room. The girl lowered her head, not daring to look at Chen Zhao and Zola. Is he your new boyfriend? No, Zola answered frankly. Can you give us 10 minutes? The girl could only close the door again and then leave. Seems like we need to find a place that's more hidden next time. The two of them sped the process up. Instead of continuing to explore various postures, they only aimed for speed. Zola was even more familiar with this. 10 minutes later, the two walked out of the room together. Zola went to find her daughter. Chen Zhao did not want to appear before them, so he found an excuse to leave. Manny, I'm so sorry. I have displayed my ugliest side in front of you. Mom, it's my fault. I shouldn't have gone in without knocking. So let us forgive each other. Mom, who's that man? He seems to be much younger than you. He's Chen, your grandfather's doctor. Zola was clearly not planning to continue this topic. Did you come with Daniel? No, I came here alone. He has his own circle. I heard that you went to a movie company for audition last week. Is that right? Yes. If you want to remain in this profession, I can recommend you to every director. After all, Rasfa was the chairman and major shareholder of PLM, one of the 6 major film studios in Hollywood. These 6 studios were both competitors and allies of each other. Zola also worked in the movie industry, so she knew countless famous directors and actors. Although she could not make Manny the female protagonist directly, she was clearly confident that Manny would at least take up a role with dialogue. In Hollywood, female protagonists were almost always appointed by the movie company. They were very seldom decided via audition. Characters with dialogues would mostly be allocated by agencies. If Manny went for an audition directly, the likelihood of her succeeding was effectively zero. Under the same conditions, director groups would only choose actresses under various agencies and partners, or those who could bring them benefits, and not Manny. Apart from being young and beautiful, Manny had almost no advantages. Hollywood had never been short of young and beautiful actresses. Actually, Manny's young age might even become her disadvantage. That was because in Hollywood, there was a rule. Movie companies would not use non-adults unless they had to. Minors, animals, and the like must all be used carefully. A character who was about 15 or 16 could well be acted by a 20-year-old actress after dressing up appropriately. Chapter 36. Another old guy with kidney problems. Chapter 36. Another old guy with kidney problems. When Chen Zhao reached the lounge, he saw Rasfa sitting there and chatting with another old white-haired man. Chen Zhao wasn't quite familiar with Hollywood stars, but this old man was a famous director. His name had spread to the other side of the world. Rasfa's cheeks were ruddy. He felt like he'd recovered his youthful vigor. Every one of his cells was alive. Chen, come here. Let me introduce you. Chen Zhao had already walked over. Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Chen. Hello. The director respectfully shook Chen Zhao's hands. Not everyone was racist. He's my current health consultant, Chen. Steven, maybe you can have Chen check your body. I'm talking about that problem. Steven was a bit hesitant. This kind of problem was difficult to talk about. Even though the West was less conservative, this condition affected his dignity as a man. He didn't dare to ask a doctor. Actually, he tried some medication that private doctors had suggested, but none of them were effective. Only some people knew about this, such as Rasfa, one of his fellow patients. When he came today, He saw Rasfa doing crazy things with his maid in his room. He could even hear the maid's wild noise when standing outside. It sounded like an intense battle. This made Stephen wonder if Rasfa had been lying to him all this time. We agreed to be fellow patients, but you're playing with girls secretly? You said you can't anymore, but you're obviously super strong, all right? What made Stephen more jealous was the fact that Rasfa was a decade older than him, but he could still be so strong. Chen, do you know what my illness is? It's not hard. Judging from your age, your body has started failing in all aspects. You have obvious age spots too. This means that there's something wrong with your kidney and detoxification system. You're probably worried about your sex abilities, right? Is it that obvious? If it's only what I see, then I can't confirm it. I have to first check your body. It's actually not such an embarrassing condition. You're not young anymore, and some things can't be avoided. Of course, if I treat you, I'm confident in helping you recover your abilities. Are you an expert in this? No. In the medical field, professional knowledge in one area can't be compared to an all-around doctor. The body is very strange, and many physiological diseases result from secondary diseases. You have to treat it from the root, instead of treating wherever the problem is. Okay, so how will you cure me? I'll use acupuncture to help you detoxify and reinvigorate your kidney. Then it'll be able to give your lower body enough strength. How long will it take? Effects show quickly. You can ask Rasfa about this. However, your kidney has withered for too long. You'll need prolonged treatment. Stephen, I was like you before noon today, but after lunch, I'm bursting with energy. You should take Chen's suggestion. Trust me, it's beneficial for you. Then, now, Stephen was clearly tempted. He'd been dormant for too long. Stephen, you're Rasfa's friend, but I still have to tell you that I'm an unlicensed doctor. Of course, I understand. Also, my price isn't low. Chen, I'll pay for Stephen. I won't disappoint you. Rasfa was a businessman. He was obviously willing to get two important people's favors with the lowest cost. Both Chen Zhao and Stephen were people he needed to rope in. How about we move somewhere else? I also need to get my medical kit. Sure. Stephen, come sit in my library. Chen Zhao brought his kit, Beelzebub, and Raymond to the library a while later. Stephen was lying on the sofa with his shirt off already. Because of his kidney, he looked a bit frail. Should I leave you two alone? No need. Stephen's situation is better than you. It's not that complicated. We might be able to get coffee together after 10 minutes. Of course, Stephen might need to take care of some personal problems too. 10 minutes later, Chen Zhao had used acupuncture to stimulate Stephen's kidney. This helped him successfully expel the extra toxins in his body. At the same time, Raymond used his abilities. When Stephen got up from the sofa, his pants were already tinted. Haha, Stephen, it seems like you really need to take care of a personal problem. Should I go get two beauties? Rasfa had a supply of beauties in his house. There were even some nameless actresses who worked as maids for him to get an opportunity. This was commonly seen in Hollywood too. Even some well-known actresses now had unspeakable pasts before they became famous. No celebrity who made a name for themselves in the entertainment industry was innocent. Face red, Stephen graciously accepted this suggestion. Rasfa's library was very big and also had a balcony facing the beach. He and Chen Zhao sat there, drinking coffee while waiting for Stephen to finish. Chen, are you sure you don't want some girls? I don't for now. Didn't you say there will be many beauties at tonight's party? Yes, but it'll depend on your own abilities then. Of course. Chen, are you interested in opening a clinic in Beverly Hills? With your abilities and my connections, I'm sure your business will prosper. That's not necessary. I'm quite satisfied with my current job. If I open a clinic, my schedule won't be as free as now. Plus, I don't like to get chased around by the IRS. The most important reason was actually because Chen Zhao didn't have enough money now. How much would it cost to open a clinic in Beverly Hills? You'd need at least $1 million. If your clinic is too small, most residents of Beverly Hills wouldn't even spare at a glance. There were also large risks. If his income couldn't balance out his expenses, he'd be at risk of huge losses. He couldn't even think about making money then. Most clinics would face these problems in the beginning, especially somewhere like Beverly Hills. Most residents here had their own personal doctors. They wouldn't trust a doctor in an unfamiliar clinic so easily. Even if Rasfa could recommend people, it wasn't like he could force people to go to his clinic at gunpoint. Chapter 37. Chapter 37. Chapter 37. 1 hour later, Stephen came back. Chen, thank you. Stephen hugged Chen Zhao in excitement. Stephen, have you taken a shower? Chen Zhao pushed Stephen away in disgust. Air. Haha. Let's have a drink first before that. In case you need long-term treatment, here's my name card. Call me in the future. Suddenly, they heard a scream from the beach. I think something happened down there. Daniel's in the sea. He's in trouble. A group of young people was on the beach, shouting at the sea. 2 strong young men grabbed 2 buoys and charged into the sea. I'll go down and take a look. Chen Zhao quickly ran down the stairs and towards the beach. Just then, Chen Zhao saw Daniel being dragged onto the shore by his friends, but his leg was covered in blood. He had been attacked by a shark. Luckily, the shark only bit him once before losing interest. Daniel had already lost his consciousness. Suddenly, Chen Zhao saw Blackie appear beside him. Blackie, why do I see you all the time? I was nearby by chance. You sure you didn't follow me here? Fine. I feel that I can always find prey by following you, so I'm here. Sorry. Since I saw him, you might lose the prey. As long as you compensate for that. To Blackie, it was purely additional income, so he was not very concerned about Daniel's death. He'll die in 20 minutes due to excessive bleeding. You better save him quick. His blood pressure and heart rate are dropping rapidly. Chen Zhao immediately charged towards Daniel. Go away. Stop gathering around here. He needs fresh air. Chen, save him. Save Daniel. He's still young. Zola had also arrived at the scene. As a mother, Zola cared and loved all of her children deeply. At the moment, she had already lost her usual calmness and pride. She was nothing more than a mother who was about to collapse. What's your and Daniel's blood types? I'm O. He's a. Chen Zhao hurriedly handled Daniel's wound. At the same time, he took out his blood transfusion tool so that Zola could transfuse her blood to Daniel. However, Daniel's blood pressure was constantly low. His soul seemed to be leaving his body already. Go back. Chen Zhao swung his hand in the air. Everyone stared at Chen Zhao in perplexity. However, Daniel opened his eyes right away. Mom, Daniel was extremely weak. My leg. Daniel, you're fine. Chen Zhao glanced at Daniel's leg. He was unsure if Daniel could keep his leg. Daniel's wound was too severe. Chen looked at Zola. Have you called the ambulance? Yes. Beverly Hills had the most comprehensive facilities and the best resources, including a hospital. Therefore, a few paramedics soon arrived. When they saw the scene, they were also shocked. Who did the first aid? Chen Zhao saw the lady named Four who had caught him in the hospital last time. He had no idea that she was part of the emergency team. It's me, Chen Zhao admitted. It's very professional. Are you also a doctor? I was a doctor before I came here, Chen Zhao answered. He would clearly not tell a legal doctor that he was illegal. It was a common saying that 2 of a trade can never agree. Legal doctors would be happy to report him. Can you tell me what happened in detail? He was bitten by a shark. I realized that he was very severely wounded and lost too much blood. Fortunately, his mother was here. After confirming their blood types, I performed blood transfusion. How did you stop the bleeding? Looking at the extent of the wound, gauze alone isn't enough. Acupuncture. You should quickly send him to the hospital now. He's still in danger. If we waste any more time, even if he doesn't die, he won't be able to keep his leg. For glanced at Chen Zhao. Then, they entered the ambulance and left. Chen, what should I do? Will Daniel die? No, I promise you. Can you accompany me to the hospital? No problem. Because of the sudden accident, Chen Zhao could not go to Rasfa's party. He boarded Zola's car with Raymond and Beelzebub. Fortunately, Humans were not on a shark's cookbook. From the wound, Chen Zhao could tell that Daniel was bitten by an adult tiger shark. What did that mean? An adult tiger shark could grow up to 6 meters. With its bite force, if the tiger shark bit Daniel's upper body instead, he would have become 2 pieces by now. Even a god would not be able to save him. In fact, in the small number of fatal shark attacks every year, most victims die from the bite and are not actually eaten. Sharks do not like the taste of humans. They are only confirming if the thing they see is food and if it is delicious. Therefore, under normal circumstances, a shark will only bite the victim once before deciding that it tastes horrible. After reaching the hospital, Daniel was sent into the emergency room directly. Chen Zhao was accompanying Zola, who had already lost all rationality. She had been crying all the time. "Zola, trust me, Daniel will be fine. Relax, just relax." "Chen, if Daniel is in danger, will you save him? Just like how you saved my father." "Yes, trust me. I promise." Out of trust for Chen Zhao, Zola calmed down slightly. Bang, bang, bang. Suddenly, 3 consecutive gunshots were heard at the end of the aisle outside the operating room. A police fell out from a room there. Then, a tall man in patient suit walked out from the room step by step while holding a nurse under duress. Phil. Chen Zhao could recognize this man, an atrocious criminal. "Walk with your own legs, you bitch." Phil shouted loudly as he pulled the nurse's hair. The nurse was already so frightened that she could hardly walk. Great fear had rendered her immobile. Suddenly, the nurse gained courage out of somewhere and bit onto Phil's arm. Phil flung the nurse out and then shot her. Phil walked along the aisle swaggeringly. A care worker suddenly charged out from the side. However, the next moment, another gunshot was heard. The care worker collapsed onto the ground. Phil looked at Chen Zhao and Zola before him, after which he lifted his gun. "I remember you." Phil stared firmly at Chen Zhao. "Last time the policewoman who's with you caught me. I remember you." Blackie was right beside Chen Zhao. "Seems like you're in trouble. Do you feel my death?" "No. Not everyone's death can be felt by me, but I have already seen his death. 10 minutes later, he'll be shot by the police who haven't arrived yet. Then I will make his death come earlier." Chapter 38. Beelzebub killed someone. Chapter 38. Beelzebub killed someone. Beelzebub had already appeared behind Phil. Chen Zhao's expression was cold. This was his first time facing a cruel criminal like this. The criminal had brutally murdered 3 innocent people in the blink of an eye. Compared to Chen Zhao, who was a doctor, he was the complete opposite type of person. As a doctor, Chen Zhao had always been trying his hardest to save his patients. But now, he felt like not everyone deserved to be saved. Not everyone deserved his full efforts. "Kill him." Zula stared at Chen Zhao in confusion. "Kill whom?" Beelzebub had already pounced on Phil's back. A pained cry sounded. Chen Zhao hurriedly tackled Zula onto the ground. In immense pain, Phil was firing randomly. Beelzebub was a true demon. Once he received the command that unleashed his instincts, he would show his most violent side. He tore off a chunk of flesh and then bit down on Phil's neck. Crack. Phil died. This was a cruel and fatal move. Phil's evil life had come to an end, but his pain had just started. A Grim Reaper was watching predatorily from the side. "Blackie, I hope he goes through more torture. I'll be glad to help." Chen Zhao didn't have time to chat with Blackie. He quickly moved up to check on the wounded, or rather, the dead. The nurse seemed to still be alive. However, she'd been shot in the chest and the bullet might have hit her artery, so her bleeding wouldn't stop. Even if she was given emergency treatment, she might not be saved. Chen Zhao had no choice but to use a demonic crystal. Next was the nurse's aide. He was also heavily wounded, and Chen Zhao fed him a demonic crystal too. Then there was the policeman. His soul was already standing there. It seemed that he'd died. Thinking for a bit, Chen Zhao still tried feeding him a demonic crystal. "Go back to your body. You shouldn't die yet." He wasn't sure if this would work. Demonic crystals could save people, but it couldn't bring people back to life. When Chen Zhao entered the patient's room, he saw two other victims, a policeman and a doctor. They'd both been shot, but they surprisingly hadn't died yet. Chen Zhao used demonic crystals again. As long as it was within his abilities and they weren't cruel people like the criminal, Chen Zhao didn't mind doing everything to save someone. When Chen Zhao walked out of the room, a gun was suddenly pointed at him. "Don't move. Raise your hands." "Sir, he's not the criminal," Farhad come to explain. "The criminal's on the ground. I think his dog killed him. We must treat the wounded now. Please don't get in the way." The group of police officers looked at Phil, lying in a puddle of blood. Beside him was Beelzebub with a bloody mouth. "That's his dog? That bastard. He was killed by that tiny dog?" "Yes. Sir, can you explain this? My dog is kind of aggressive. When he saw that man pointing a gun to my head, my dog attacked him from behind." Kind of aggressive? The officers were all confused. They'd seen many aggressive dogs, but they'd all been large dogs. Beelzebub was just a small Shar-Pei. How aggressive could Shar-Peis be? And to the point of killing someone? Chun, no need to say all that to them. If needed, I'll have my lawyer talk for you. Beelzebub is a hero. He saved us and the entire hospital. The officers didn't want to make it hard for Chen Zhao either. They just found it incredible that this Shar-Pei that couldn't even reach their knees had actually killed that evil criminal. "Sir, the hospital is understaffed. Can you help us treat the victims?" "I don't have a license. I'm afraid these officers will just toss me into jail." The officer that had pointed a gun at Chen Zhao felt awkward. "I'm sorry, sir. It was my fault earlier. Let me apologize. Can you give me some clothes?" If he participated in the emergency treatment, he needed a disinfected doctor's coat. Chen Zhao's clothes obviously weren't suitable for the surgery room. Some nurses quickly brought a coat over. "Zula, go, Chen. Go save everyone who deserves it. May God be with you." Chen Zhao was responsible for saving the officer whose soul had already come out. It finished quickly. As someone who was shot, the officer's wounds were very grave, but the surgery was simple. He was just still in danger. Chen Zhao wasn't needed for the other victims. There were other doctors who were performing emergency treatment. When Chen Zhao walked out of the surgery room, he received good news. The other victims were all saved. "Chun, how many times have we met because of work?" Melson walked over to Chen Zhao. He and the previous officers were from the same station but different departments. Chen Zhao felt helpless. "You won't do anything to my dog, right?" "No way. It's a hero, and a hero should be treated like one." Just then, a middle-aged man walked over. His hair was combed carefully, and he looked like someone important. "You're Chen?" "Yes, and you?" "I'm the deputy chief of LA's sub-bureau. You can call me Grant." "Mr. Grant, how can I help you?" "No, you and your dog saved two of my men. I'm coming to tell you that you won't run into any trouble on these streets." Grant had clearly learned of Chen Zhao's job from Melson, and he'd come to express his stance. "Thanks." The hospital shooting caused a huge commotion. The hospital was surrounded by the media, but the police had sealed it off with security lines. This was also a mistake on the police's side. After all, Phil was a captured criminal, but because of the police's mishap, he got a gun and caused this shooting. Thankfully, no one had died, so the police could push the scandal as low as possible. What Grant had just told Chen Zhao was also to ensure that Chen Zhao wouldn't blab about this scandal. Unfortunately, Daniel's legs couldn't be saved. His muscles had been damaged too heavily and could barely be preserved. Chen Zhao was helpless too. He wasn't all-powerful. He couldn't regrow the leg that had been sliced off biologically. Zula was heartbroken, while Daniel looked lifeless in bed. Chen Zhao stayed in the hospital and didn't leave until the next day. Chapter 39. Ethan's Grandmother. Chapter 39. Ethan's Grandmother. America is indeed too dangerous. I'm only here to save the suffering people. It's too fucking dangerous. In less than a month, how many shootings have I witnessed? How many deaths have I seen? Just after Chen Zhao returned to the motel, he received a call from Melson. "Chun, are you free? The Los Angeles Times would like to interview you and take a photo of you and your dog." "Sorry, I don't want to appear on the media. I think you know that my work is special. Chen Zhao was an illegal doctor after all. If he was to appear on the papers, the police might ignore it, but not those from medical associations. I get it, but you should be careful too. Some reporters seem to have found a few clues. They might go around the police and investigate you directly. Hearing this, Chen Zhao could feel his head hurt. It was certainly bad to be noticed by the media. Even though he was not a celebrity, his story could still be a hot topic. Since the previous day, the news about the hospital shooting hadn't stopped. Chen Zhao stayed in his room for the entire day. His last few days had been very fruitful and exciting. Ethan did not accept any clients for him either, allowing him to spend the whole day in peace. Chen Zhao slept until the night. Of course, he was awakened by Ethan's knocking. Chen, are you awake? Yes, by you. Chen Zhao opened the door to let Ethan in. I heard about what happened in the hospital yesterday. Ethan looked at Beelzebub. My little hero, come here. Beelzebub gave Ethan the cold shoulder and continued sleeping. Ignored by Beelzebub, Ethan was somewhat disappointed. Your house is almost finished. Do you want to buy furniture tomorrow? I can go with you. Okay. Wait. Ethan, what do you want? Nothing. It's just friends helping each other. Helping each other? Yes, helping each other. So what do you want? I want to visit my grandmother tomorrow. I hope that you can go there with me too. After all this, Ethan was actually just asking Chen Zhao to be his free labor. Since Chen Zhao was getting along with Ethan quite well, he did not really mind helping out. Here are the burgers I've just made. They're free. For Beelzebub as well. Anything else? Fine. I'll leave first. Chen Zhao grabbed a burger and tossed it to Beelzebub. Chen Zhao sat on the chair and opened the metallic box casually. Suddenly, he saw a flash and a fist-sized demonic crystal appeared in the box. Different from the demonic crystals he had seen earlier, this piece of demonic crystal looked like an accessory that was elaborately cut. It was a heart-shaped black gem. At the instant Chen Zhao lifted the demonic crystal, Beelzebub stopped eating the burger and stared firmly at the crystal. It's a perfect crystal. Raymond, who had been under the blanket, also climbed out. He would have leaped at the crystal right away if he could. How many years is this crystal worth? 100 years. Oh. Chen, looked at how hard-working I was yesterday. You should reward me. I don't need much, just 10 years. That's not too much, right? I was hard-working yesterday as well. Think about those two humans, Rasfa and Steven. I was the main contributor. 1 year for each of you. Don't think about getting more. Fine. Wait, I don't want the other crystals. I want this one. Is this demonic crystal different from the others? Of course. It's just like how you human gems have different qualities. The same goes for demonic crystals. This is a perfect crystal. Its effect is better than ordinary crystals. So what's its value? At least 150 years worth of demonic crystals? Maybe even higher. Then I'll give you 2 years of demonic crystals each and not break this one. I think it's worth more in one piece. All right, I accept. The perfect crystal was indeed very beautiful, but to Chen Zhao, its practical uses were more important. If he really wanted a beautiful gem, he could have bought a man-made one. The next day, Ethan brought Chen Zhao to a shop to order furniture. Sir, what kind of furniture would you like to purchase? Here are the beds. This brand is... All these aren't big enough, Chen Zhao remarked, holding his chin. The previous day, Chen Zhao had tried the large bed in Rasfa's house. He could do whatever he wanted with Zola, and it was simply amazing. Therefore, Chen Zhao had decided that he had to get a bed of the same size. The beds and mattresses here are all standard, so their sizes wouldn't differ too much. But if you want a special size, we can also custom make one for you. Chun, you're living alone. Do you really need such a big bed? Yes, absolutely, Chun Zhao answered resolutely. The saleslady happily accepted the expensive custom order. To order this bed, Chun Zhao had to pay 30% deposit immediately, which was $600. In other words, the bed and the mattress cost $2,000. Chun Zhao was seldom so extravagant, but he felt that it was worth it. Then he started buying desks, chairs, sofas, electrical appliances, and a laptop. All the items totaled to over $6,000. Chen Zhao did not even hesitate to spend $2,000 on the custom-made bed. However, for the other furniture, Chen Zhao could almost feel his heart bleed every time. The furniture was not sent to Chen Zhao's new home right away. Instead, it would be delivered 4 days later. Chen, let's go to my grandmother's house now. You're going empty-handed? Without any present? What should I buy? Ethan seemed to be confused. I don't bring something every time I go there. Grandmother will always welcome me in the warmest way. I don't think she needs anything. Chen Zhao kicked Ethan's butt. Can I say that you're just a bastard? This fat-ass really doesn't know how to treat other people. All right, what do you think I should buy? The two turned around and went back into the supermarket. They bought a carnation bouquet and a bag of fruits, as well as an apple tablet that cost $300. Ethan was quite reluctant to spend the $300. Ethan's grandmother was 95 years old at the moment and lived in the urban areas of Los Angeles. She lived in a high-class commercial building. Chen Zhao heard that she was a college professor, an advanced intellectual. Chen Zhao was certain that Ethan had had little contact with his grandmother, for otherwise he would not be such a rude man. Chapter 40. Because of the free drinks. Chapter 40. Because of the free drinks. Granny, we're here? Ethan opened the door and immediately hugged the old hunched woman with a cane and thick glasses. Ethan was fat and at least 3 times the size of the woman. Damn it, did you drink before coming here? Let go. The smell is getting to me. The old woman looked to Chen Zhao, standing behind Ethan. You didn't tell me that you'll bring a handsome boy here. I didn't even dress up. Ethan, you didn't tell me we're meeting such a beautiful woman either. Lad, I like you. What's your name? Just call me Chen. Do I have the honor of knowing your name? You can call me Right, or you can call me Granny like Ethan does too. It's hard to believe that you're Ethan's grandmother. How about I just call you Right? Chen Zhao hugged the old woman, their faces pressing against each other. Ethan offered up the flowers. This is for you. Chen Zhao gave the tablet to the old woman. Thank you. It's just what I need. Lad, you really understand people. If I'm 60 years younger, no, 50 years younger, I'll definitely flirt with you crazily. It's not too late yet. I paid for that, Ethan added. Granny, you should compliment me. A 50-year-old man was shameless enough to fight with Chen Zhao for compliments. Come in, come in. The home's interior design had a darker tone. All the furniture looked quite old, but they were all clean. The lighting was quite good too, and wouldn't make them feel stuffy. The old woman had already prepared some fruit. Lad, are you Chinese? Yes. How did you know? I was once a professor at Nanjing University. During that time, I learned Chinese. Chen is one of the most common surnames in China, but Chinese is the most complex language I've ever learned. I have a Chinese name too, Li Chuntian, or Spring Li. It's a beautiful name, both your birth name and your Chinese name. Ethan, learn from Chen. You don't know how to say nice things. I only speak the truth. Chen, what's your job? You aren't Ethan's lackey, right? This bastard is the worst of the worst. Clearly, Wright knew some things about Ethan too, and her impression of Ethan was stuck on that. I'm a doctor. You two sit. I'll go prepare lunch for you two. Granny, remember to make meat. Don't give me too many greens. Even a 50-year-old middle-aged man would act like a kid before his grandmother. When Wright went into the kitchen, Ethan went to Chen Zhao's side. So is my granny all right? Not really, but she looks spirited. She's just pretending for us. Then what can we do? What's wrong with her? It's just some conditions common for seniors. They're unavoidable. However, I saw her skin below her collar. There seems to be some spots. What's wrong with that? Remind me when she comes out of the kitchen. Chen Zhao walked to the shelf on the side and looked around. He saw the medicine there. How is it? She might have cancer. I found some medicine used for suppressing cancer cells, but I can't be sure if it's malignant or benign. It might be in the lungs or stomach. Cancer? Ethan's expression turned serious. Even if he didn't have any medical knowledge, he still knew what cancer meant. Wright was clearly excited because Ethan and Chen Zhao were here. The sumptuous lunch was practically a feast. At a certain age, even hardened and independent women would start feeling lonely. Wright just didn't express it. She couldn't say it out loud, but she was clearly happy that the two were here. When Ethan went to the bathroom, Wright smiled and said, "Chun, did Ethan bring you here to help diagnose me?" "Right, seeing how vibrant you are, I think Ethan did all this for nothing. But if you want coffee, you can call me. This is my number. I'll be at your beck and call." "How did you meet Ethan?" "I was a homeless stray until Ethan took me in and gave me a job. Watch him for me. He's not old now, but he still doesn't know how to take care of himself. I refuse. He even charges me $1 for a hamburger." "Fucker." Ethan had come back out. "I charge you $1, but I have to give you a can of soda. You know that it can cost more than $1. Since you're already not making money, you shouldn't take my money even more. In your dreams, right? Do you see? You think I'll take care of a bastard like this?" After lunch, the three chatted on the porch. Chen Zhao and Wright teamed up to bully Ethan. Under Chen Zhao's urging, Wright revealed many embarrassing things about Ethan, which pissed him off. It was obvious that Wright was happy, though. Ethan had disappointed her before, but he was still her grandson. The two didn't get up and bid farewell until 3 p.m. Chen Zhao hugged Wright. "Wright, don't forget my number. I'd love to have a candlelit dinner with you." "Of course, handsome boy." After going downstairs, Ethan grew serious. "Have a plan?" "Patience. I can't just require her to get a checkup, right? She clearly doesn't want you to worry." "Then what should we do?" "Get closer to her. I'll find some time to meet her again." "Okay, God bless." Chen Zhao could only say that he would try his best. It was cancer, after all. Is she still working? She's a professor at UCLA and still insists on lecturing. What department? Medical school? Fuck. You want an unlicensed doctor to treat a medical school professor? Are you sure I'm more skilled than her? But you're the only doctor I know. I suddenly feel so much pressure. Can I reject this request? Then you'll never get free hamburgers. You never gave me free ones before. You at least got free drinks. Fine. I'll try my best because of the free drinks. But Ethan, she should be clearer about her own body than anyone else. I'm afraid I can't do much. I know. Just try your best. Chapter 41. Wrong report? Chapter 41. Wrong report? Chen Zhao finally moved to his new house. Both Vincent and Ethan came to help Chen Zhao. Jerlin and Melson came as well with some presents. They were the only friends Chen Zhao had in this country. After a while, everyone except Jerlin left. They had not done it for a long time already, so they were particularly wild that night. Jerlin was even more decisive than Chen Zhao. Perhaps most women here were like that. They were not the kind of women that could not live without love. Jerlin was like this. So was Zola. Chun, have you thought about your future? Chen Zhao was unsure about what Jerlin was referring to. Did she want to have a long-term relationship with him? Thus, Chen Zhao did not know what to reply. Noticing Chen Zhao's hesitation, Jerlin smiled at once. Don't worry. I don't mean that. I only feel that being an illegal doctor isn't a long-term plan. I have never thought about that. If one day I'm tired of it, perhaps I will consider switching to another career, or getting a medical license. I might become a legal doctor and open a clinic. Just then, Chen Zhao's phone rang. Hello, who is? It was already 2 a.m. Who would be so free to disrupt the happy time between Chen Zhao and Jerlin? Chen, it's me. Right. Darling, do you have insomnia? Chen Zhao realized that Wright's voice was somewhat weak. Wright, are you sick? Yes, I feel very bad. I feel like I'm dying. Are you at home? Yes. I'll go there now, Chen Zhao said as he stood up. What is it? Jerlin asked. Can you drive me to a place? It's Ethan's grandmother. She might be in danger. Okay. Jerlin did not hesitate. You're still bringing Beelzebub and Raymond at this hour? It's my habit. I bring them whenever I treat a patient. Jerlin shook her head. She could not understand why Chen Zhao would have such a strange habit. Nevertheless, it was not a bad one, so Jerlin was only asking out of interest. Ethan, Wright seems to be in trouble. I'm on my way there now. You should come too. When they arrived at Wright's house, they discovered that the door was shut tight. Chen Zhao knocked. Right, it's Chen. Are you all right? Nobody answered. Chen Zhao knocked 2 more times, but he still did not get a reply. Ethan's grandmother might have fainted. We need to open the door by force, Chen Zhao said. Stand back. Jerlin drew her gun and pointed it at the lock directly. Bang! The lock broke and the two walked into the house. They saw at once that Wright had fainted in the living room. Chen Zhao went up immediately to check on her. Jerlin asked, "How's she?" "Not good." Chen Zhao saw a few empty boxes scattered on the floor. Wright's cancer medicine had already been finished. Wright's vital signs were very weak at the moment. After some consideration, Chen Zhao said, "Jerlin, give me a glass of water." While Jerlin was pouring the water, Chen Zhao took out the perfect crystal. "Human, are you going to waste a perfect crystal on this dying human? Her life isn't worth this perfect crystal. Do you know that in hell, such a crystal can be used to trade for 1,000 human souls? Chen, you can even use it to earn money from a billionaire. It's not worth it to use the crystal on such a decaying body. It's a treasure that can make severed limbs grow back." "Shut up." Chen Zhao took out a mortar and put the perfect crystal in, after which he used a pestle to crush the crystal into powder form. Just then, Jerlin came back with a glass of water. Chen Zhao took the glass and poured the perfect crystal powder in. Of course, he only poured a very small portion in and not everything. The water in the glass turned black. Chen Zhao stirred the solution and then fed Wright the black liquid. Suddenly, Ethan rushed into the house. "Chen, how's my grandmother? She is in a lot of danger. We should send her to the hospital now." Ethan lifted Wright up and the three put her into the car together. Then, they drove towards the hospital. "Huh, doctor, right?" Noticing the three who were carrying Wright, for ran over immediately. "What happened?" "She's sick. We received her call and sent her here." 4 asked the nurses on duty to send Wright into the emergency room at once. Ethan was extremely nervous and wanted to follow Wright in, but luckily he was stopped by Chen Zhao. "Ethan, calm down. How do you expect me to calm down?" "Shut up. This is a hospital. Don't force me to punch you," Chen Zhao said softly. "I'm sorry. Chen, I shouldn't have been angry. Wright's fine. Trust me." "Where am I?" On a bed in the emergency room, Wright woke up, but the light above her was so intense that she could hardly open her eyes. "Professor, it's me? 4? Am I in the hospital?" "Yes, Professor. You seem to have experienced an episode. An Asian and a fat guy sent you here. Are they your friends?" "Yes. That fat guy is my grandson. Do they know my condition?" "I think so. That Asian is also a doctor, an excellent one. He should have noticed it already, but I don't know how much he knows." "Dr. 4, the test report is out." "Give it to me," Wright said immediately. "Professor, you're the patient now. I'm the doctor. But I'm still your professor. You have learned all your medical knowledge from me." "Professor, all right, give it to me. It's not my first time to get shocked." "Okay." Wright glanced at the test report. "You've taken the wrong one. My fatty acid synthase can't be that low." Fatty acid synthase is an important component of cancer cells. A higher level of fatty acid synthase therefore indicates more cancer cells and a more severe condition. However, in this report, the level of fatty acid synthase was only slightly higher than an ordinary person. It looked like a patient with a benign tumor, not Wright who had late-stage cancer. Of course, Wright wished that this report was hers, but she knew that it was impossible. "Molly, did you take the wrong one?" "Sorry, I might have mistaken it. Let me check again." Soon, the nurse returned. "Dr. 4, the test room says that it's correct." "That's impossible. I'll go there myself." 4 was quite irritated. This was clearly a mistake. What were the test room people doing? After all, this involved her own professor. She had done the last test, so she knew her professor's condition very well. To be honest, Wright would be lucky to live for even one more day. Although she hoped that Wright could recover, she knew that it was clearly impossible with the current medical knowledge. Chapter 42. Take the wrong thing? Chapter 42. Take the wrong thing? There's no mistake, the doctor in the lab said, a bit frustrated. Your professor's blood sample is still here. If you don't believe me, you can test it again. Only your professor's blood sample was extracted and tested today. There's no way I messed up the only sample and report. But this is impossible. She's in the late stage of stomach cancer. She can't have such low fatty acid synthase. For took the blood sample and tested it herself. However, the result was the same as the previous report. She returned to Wright, who asked, "Did you receive the test report?" For handed the report to her. "Professor, take a look. How is it lower than before? What's going on? 4. Are you lying to me now?" "Professor, this is your report? This is impossible. You took the same blood sample, but you got 2 sets of completely different numbers." "Professor, I need to do a full checkup for you, including gastroscopy, CT scan, X-ray, and it's best to collect another blood sample. Is this necessary?" "Professor, I believe it's necessary." "All right. If you must, then let's do it." The next hour was very painful for Wright, especially during the gastroscopy. Even though she was a medical professor, she still hated gastroscopy. It was inhumane torture. However, the test report came out quickly. "Professor, look at your gastroscopy. Is this really my gastroscopy?" "Yes. The shadow is where your cancer tumor is, but compared to last time, it's much smaller." "This is impossible. You were watching it personally. There's no way for me to lie." "Are the CT and X-ray scans out too?" "Dr. 4, the CT scan is out." A nurse brought over the scan. After checking it, For handed it to Wright. "This really is mine?" Wright still didn't really believe it. However, when the X-ray scan was brought over, the results were still the same. "How is it that my tumor shrunk so quickly?" "Professor, are you using some specific drug? Is it C31? C31 wasn't being sold yet. It was still a specific drug that existed in research labs. Its main function was to repress fatty acid synthase. In theory, as long as fatty acid synthase was controlled, most cancerous cells could be killed within a day. However, it wasn't used in clinical treatment yet, so there was no way to get it. There's no C31 in any market, not even the black market. Where do I go to get it? If you didn't use some specific drug, then I can only say that God has blessed you. This is too strange." Wright was completely baffled. At that time, the blood sample report came out too. "Professor, the second test report is out. Your cancerous cells have been wiped out completely." "Really? You are the second miracle of our hospital. The last time, there was a boy with brain cancer. We've already sent the notice to his family, but his tumor shrunk miraculously overnight. He wasn't as lucky as you, though. His tumor didn't disappear completely like you." "There's already a precedent." "Oh, yeah, that Asian man was there too." It suddenly popped into Four's mind. "I remember now. That Asian man snuck into the boys' room and I caught him. He said that he'd entered the wrong room." "Professor, did he give you some medicine?" "I don't know. I was unconscious." "Maybe you should call him over to ask. Help me call them all over." "Granny, this is great. As long as you're okay." Ethan was hugging Wright excitedly, but the scene was difficult to watch. Ethan was too rough. It looked like a gangster bullying a senior citizen. Zhao grabbed Ethan. "Ethan, Wright's going to suffocate like that. Let go of her." "Granny, how are you?" "Not bad. Thank God Chen gave me medicine in time." I didn't give you medicine. I just took you to the hospital." "Chen." Jerlin looked at Zhao in surprise. "You just—" "Oh, I also gave you some water." "Chen, you're a doctor. You should know that feeding water to an unconscious patient is very dangerous. You shouldn't make mistakes like that." Wright smiled at Zhao. On the side, For said, "Sir, Professor Wright's cancer has been suppressed, so you don't have to worry about getting sued for using some type of medicine. Please tell us truthfully what medicine you gave her." This will help her condition too. I really don't know what you're saying. I am sure that I only gave Right a cup of water and nothing else. I was an accident, doctor. It's probably because I'm not professional enough. Right, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have given you water while you were unconscious. Sir, don't you know that your medicine can save millions upon millions of lives? Please use your pretty head and think a bit. If I really have some special medicine that can cure cancer, would I be kicked out of a motel because I can't pay the rent? Ethan, is that true? Wright glared at Ethan. Bastard. Chen, stop the bullshit. You moved away yourself. I didn't kick you out. I even helped you move. Ethan, don't cause a scene here. Wright, please rest up. We'll go now. Go. Professor. No need. He doesn't want to talk. Chen, you clearly gave her some black drug? Chun, did you really save my granny? No. You remembered incorrectly, Chun Zhao insisted. He was basically speaking nonsense. Chan, I know you must have used some witchcraft, but the result is good, so I don't care no matter what trick you used. Thank you for saving my granny. Don't think crazily like that. I didn't do anything. Okay, I'm tired. Jerlin, can you drive me home? Jerlin had been a bit angry, but she still gave in. She could feel that there was a reason why Chen Zhao couldn't reveal the truth. However, she was sure that Chen Zhao had cured Right. He didn't admit it, and the whole thing sounded crazy, but it was the truth. After all, she'd seen it with her own eyes. Chapter 43, Living in a Wealthy Area for a Few Days. Chapter 43, Living in a Wealthy Area for a Few Days. Chun, why are you hiding it? I know that you cured Right. Jerlin stared at Chen Zhao, puzzled. Do you think being able to cure cancer is good or bad? Of course it's good. You can gain both reputation and wealth. At the same time, patients can stop suffering. You can save millions of people. But I can't treat everyone. It's not a normal method. I can't even teach it to someone else. Perhaps I can save 10 people or 100 people, but not 1,000 people. By then, the entire world will know that I can cure cancer. How do I live? Who do I treat? Chun, I get it. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have rashly said those words just now. Do you suddenly feel that I'm so great? Your words have indeed changed my impression of you. Then let's go back and restart the activity between the two of us. Actually, Chen Zhao had been somewhat reluctant to use the perfect crystal. He had originally wanted to use the perfect crystal to exchange for the spatial ring from Raz. He was unsure if Raz was still willing to trade it now that he had crushed the crystal into powder form. By the time Chen Zhao and Jerlin returned, it was already 5 a.m. However, the two had no intention of sleeping, and they continued until it was past 7 a.m. Chen Zhao lay exhausted on the bed, while Jerlin tidied her clothes, getting ready to leave Chen Zhao's place. However, before Jerlin even left, Chen Zhao was awakened by another call. Hello, Zola. Chun, can you come over and help me to comfort Daniel? He wants to commit suicide. Chen Zhao jumped out from the bed directly. What a tiring life. Jerlin, don't leave yet. Drive me to Beverly Hills. Chen Zhao alighted from Jerlin's car feeling dazed. To make things worse, he also had a severe headache. Paul, morning. Mr. Chun, why are you here? Zola called me. She said that Daniel has lost control of his emotions. Ms. Zola doesn't live here. Her house is on the other side of Beverly Hills. Let me take you there. All right, thank you. Paul drove Chen Zhao to Zola's house. When they reached, Zola ran out and welcomed Chen Zhao in. It was similarly a large manor with a few domestic helpers. When Chen Zhao entered the house, he noticed Manny look at him from upstairs. Clearly, she had a poor impression of Chen Zhao. How's Daniel? He has been in a very bad mood these few days. Yesterday, he almost cut his own wrist. Fortunately, a maid discovered it and snatched the fruit knife from him. Zola brought Chen Zhao to Daniel's room. Chen Zhao knocked on the door. I'm going to sleep. Leave now. Chen Zhao opened the door immediately, as if he did not hear Daniel's words. Right away, Beelzebub ran forward and jumped onto Daniel's bed. You! When Daniel lifted his blanket and saw Beelzebub's face, his anger vanished at once. Chen, why are you here? Your mom is very worried about you, so I came here to visit you. There's nothing to be worried about. I'm already a disabled man now. Zhao stared at the dispirited Daniel. He still remembered how high-spirited Daniel was when they first met. At the moment, Daniel seemed to have aged by 10 years, with his face covered in messy beard. Perhaps because he had not washed himself for a few days already, his hair was dirty and his face sallow. Zhao turned his head and glanced at Zola. Zola, close the door. Zola looked at Zhao. After slight hesitation, she still went to close the door. Daniel, how much money do you have? Why? I think I might be able to heal him. Stop joking. My entire leg was cut off. Do you think I'm a fool? Fine. Just pretend that I'm joking. If there's really such a chance, how much are you willing to pay? Chen, are you kidding? Zhao glanced at Zola and remained silent. Chen, I know you have some special knowledge. If you can make Daniel walk again, I'll give you $1 million. No, I only want Daniel's money. You, Daniel, how much can you pay to let yourself stand up again? I only have over $100,000. That's all. Chen, please don't joke with me like that. Good. From now on, you owe me $200,000. Zhao turned around and looked at Zola. Can you find a hidden place for me and Daniel? We might need to stay there for a few days. Chen, are you serious? No, I only want to experience what it feels like to live in Beverly Hills. I'm asking Daniel to stay with me. Zola took her phone. Father, is house 65 on the hilltop vacant? Chen and Daniel want to stay there for a few days. Okay, no problem. I don't want too many people to know about it, okay? Zhao stared at Zola with a serious look. Not even my father. How many people know about Daniel's amputation? My father and a few of Daniel's schoolmates. Chen, are you really able to heal me? Chen, Daniel became excited. If you walk in front of your schoolmates one day, will there be a problem? Daniel immediately replied, no, they have only heard about it, and nobody has seen me like this now. I promise you that I wouldn't tell anyone. Let's go. Send us to that villa. Oh, right. Is the scenery there good? Now? Of course. If you need to prepare, we can also go there a few years later. Now. Let's go there now. Zola sent Zhao and Daniel to the vacant villa herself. The villa was located on the hillside, where one could see the coastline in the distance. It was surrounded by lush, magnificent vegetation and enveloped in fresh, rejuvenating air. Chen, do you need anything else? Before Daniel and I appear before all of you again, do not come and disturb us. How many days do you need? No more than a week. Zhao had learned the perfect crystal's uses from Beelzebub and Raymond. The perfect crystal would not make Daniel's leg grow out immediately. Instead, the process would take a few days. Of course, outsiders were not prohibited from watching the process. It was just that Zhao did not want anyone else to see it. At the same time, he wanted to keep some kind of mystery. Therefore, he had asked Zola and the others to not disturb them. He had chosen here instead of his home precisely so that he could keep this a secret. Although Zhao lived alone, an entire town with many houses was right outside. He might not be able to maintain the confidentiality of the treatment. Moreover, Jerlin would also occasionally visit him, so he had decided to ask Zola for such a villa. Chapter 44, 13 and 21 years old. Chapter 44, 13 and 21 years old. Zhao didn't feed Daniel the medicine made from the perfect crystal directly. Instead, he had Daniel take a sleeping pill and then poured in the medicine after he was asleep. To be honest, Zhao just wanted to act mysterious. If he gave Rasfa a black drug and then gave Daniel one too, people would easily think that Zhao only had one trick. Then they would get some other ideas about the black drug and might even do dangerous things. No matter how close they were, some things still had to be hidden. Plus, they weren't even that close. After the sleeping pill's effect passed, Daniel woke up and found that he was still on the balcony. He felt waves of itchiness coming from his thigh. He couldn't bear the itchiness. Daniel tore off the gauze and found that something was wriggling at the spot of amputation. Then he saw something extend out of his flesh. It was white and bloody. It was a bone. A bone was extending outward. No, it was growing. What's going on? Bearing the extreme itchiness, he watched as blood and muscle grew around the bone, covering it up. The progress was so strange that he gradually forgot about the itch. An hour later, the supernatural and incomprehensible growth finally stopped. By then, his leg's flesh and bone had reached his knee. It was like a dream. Daniel was still in a daze. Flesh growing back, this was crazy. His knee hadn't grown back yet, but Daniel completely believed Chen Zhao now. The man he really could make the left leg grow back? This sounded entirely unbelievable, but it had really happened before his eyes. Chen? Where did Chen go? Daniel looked around. He only saw Beelzebub sleeping on the ground. Chen Zhao had vanished. Beelzebub opened his eyes and looked at Daniel. Then he shook his head in a human-like way. Daniel grabbed the cane beside him and stood up with difficulty. He saw Chen Zhao sleeping on the sofa. Daniel was grateful to Chen Zhao, but the sun was setting soon. If Chen Zhao could get up and make him some food, he would be even more grateful. Chen, wake up. Chen Zhao was dead asleep, so Daniel had to poke him with the cane. Chen, time to get up. He finally opened his eyes. What time is it? Dinner? What are we eating? Daniel was so done. Chen, don't you think that you're the one who should cook dinner? I'm tired. What exactly did you do last night? I saved an old granny with cancer and then fucked a female cop till morning. I was going to rest at home, but then you asshole tried to commit suicide. Fine, it's my fault, but I'm really hungry right now. Okay, I'll go see if there's any food. Chen Zhao still got up and made dinner for him and Daniel. I cooked how I usually cook. I can't be compared to your family's chef. If you don't like it, well, I can't do anything about it. It's okay. I'm not picky, but if you can give me some beer, I'll be even more grateful. Are you even old enough? Oh, please. I can understand if you refuse to give me beer because I'm recovering, but if you're doubting my age, I can't accept it. How do I not look like an adult? Fine. You're still recovering. You can't drink. After dinner, Chen Zhao and Daniel lay on the balcony to stargaze with a bunch of snacks and soda. With Daniel's current condition, he really couldn't drink alcohol. It would be perfect if I can smoke some weed now, but I know that even if you have it, you'll say I'm injured and can't smoke. Chen Zhao made a face. He didn't feel like asking about this youth's bad habits. He could only control himself. You only need at most 7 days, and then you can be free. Chen, are you a druid? Daniel felt like Chen Zhao was the legendary druid now. It was bizarre, but the most bizarre thing was that it was happening to himself. If Chen Zhao was a druid, then it was still comprehensible. If that will help you accept things, then think of me as a druid. Teach me. I want to be a druid too. You can't. You don't have the talent. Plus, I haven't gotten everything straight yet. How can I teach you? It was obviously painful for these two men to be stuck inside. The house was very fancy, but it still couldn't hide the fact that it was boring. Zula, can you get a game set here? Daniel and I are going to go crazy. Zula brought different servers over, along with a big pile of games. She put them at the door and left. She was worried that it was taboo to see Daniel. Daniel, have you played with actresses before? Yeah. I was 15 and in my grandpa's manor. I thought we were dating, but then I realized that she'd slept with all the men in the manor. Not just me. She was just using me. We broke up, but she got the chance to act in a movie that my grandpa's company funded. She's pretty famous in Hollywood now. You should have heard her name before. Lafa Dior. Chen Zhao thought for a moment, but he didn't know who that was. After all, he didn't care about celebrities at all. He'd only been in LA for a month too. If that woman was only a bit famous, then her name couldn't have reached the other side of the world. It was normal that he didn't know her. If you want to play with an actress, I can arrange it as long as she's not an A-lister. Don't. This feels like prostitution to me. I'm not sad enough to do that. When was your first time? I was 13. I paid $10 for a girl to give me a hand job. Chen Zhao cursed inwardly. This really was a dark society. His first wet dream had been when he was 14 years old, but this guy had lost his virginity at 13. So when was your first time? It was Daniel's time to ask. 21 years old. My college classmate. Chen Zhao was embarrassed. You never thought about spending money to get a girl? Yes. It was during sophomore year when I wasn't dating yet. I had the strongest sexual urges during that time too. My roommates and I got this idea, but we didn't have much money. We heard that it was cheap at somewhere called a salon, so we asked around and went to the street. As expected, we were stopped by a girl in heavy makeup. We asked her how much and she said 40. Then I asked if it'll only cost 40 for us three together, and she called us our asterisk tard. Daniel burst out in laughter. Do you know where my coming-of-age ceremony was held? Chapter 45. Daniel Cured. Chapter 45. Daniel Cured. The two chatted about their embarrassing past. Daniel and Chen Zhao had very different attitudes towards life and ways of thinking. Daniel had already played enough when he was young. His biggest hope at the moment was to find genuine love. Yes, to most people, this was such a foolish thought. But Daniel really believed it. At the moment, he was still single precisely because he wanted such a sacrificing love. On the other hand, Chen Zhao wanted to enjoy what he had been unable to. He had set himself completely free. Indeed, he only wanted physical satisfaction and not true love. Daniel was not actually being naive. In fact, he knew the world better than most people. Since he was young, he had been influenced by his surroundings. He had seen the material world long ago. Think about it. He had spent $10 for a female schoolmate to jerk him off when he was 13. How pure could his mind be? However, the more he was like this, the more he longed for something he could not obtain. On the other hand, Chen Zhao had used to be cynical and an idealist. He wanted to become a unique doctor, one who would save the world alone. However, it was only an ideal after all. After being raped forcefully by reality, Chen Zhao finally saw the real world clearly. Chen Zhao did not even know whether he regretted the decision at that time. In any case, it was already over. Moreover, he had heard that there was a new policy in China. When a doctor feels that a patient needs surgery for sure, even if the family members do not sign a consent form, the doctor still has the right to decide whether to perform surgery without needing to bear any responsibility. This is good news to most doctors in the emergency department. However, it was already too late for Chen Zhao. He had lost his job and lover, along with 3 years of savings. Chen Zhao was also not an emotional person. He had almost forgotten everything in his past. At the moment, he had his own job and his own life. Daniel's left leg was growing at an amazing rate. After the treatment on the second day, half of his calf grew back. On the third day, the entire calf appeared, while on the fourth day, half of his feet emerged. He completely recovered on the fifth day. However, the colors of his legs were different. His right leg was bronze-colored, while his left leg was new and tender. It's over. It's finally over. God, I'm never going to carry out such a treatment on anyone in the future. Chen Zhao was even more excited than Daniel. Daniel had fully recovered, meaning that his job was also over. Chen, thank you. Remember your promise. Don't tell anyone about it. Of course. I don't want to be hated by a druid. Chen Zhao was also unsure if Daniel was only joking or really thought that he was a druid. Mom, can you come over? Soon, Zola arrived. When she saw the standing Daniel, she screamed in thrill. God, is this real? Unbelievable. Am I dreaming? Zola let go of Daniel and then hugged Chen Zhao. Chen, thank you. You've given him rebirth. If you really want to thank me, send me home. I suddenly realized that my home is still more comfortable. Of course. Even if you want me to send you to the moon, I'll agree, let alone sending you home. Zola sent Daniel to his manor, after which she drove Chen Zhao home. Come in and have a seat. Chen Zhao looked at Zola. Zola smiled and accepted Chen Zhao's invitation. After closing the door, the two hugged and kissed each other impatiently. At the moment, The two were really filled with intense desire. Clink. Is someone here? The two were in the midst of kissing when they suddenly heard something shatter in the living room. Woof. The two tidied their clothes. Chen Zhao walked into the living room to discover the floor filled with glass fragments. It was originally a decorative vase. Maybe it's just the wind, Chen Zhao said. Let's continue. Zola's voice was loud and sonorous as she indulged herself without constraints. Chen Zhao had abstained himself from sex for too long and really needed some. Therefore, he charged towards the peak with Zola again and again. The two only stopped after 2 hours when the sky began to turn dark. Do you want to eat together? No, I need to go back and look after Daniel. Send me to the motel. I have something there. Are you taking me as your driver? No, it's only a friend's request. All right then. Chen Zhao glanced at the room before closing the door. You're so strange. Just now you were so eager to go home, and now you want to go out again. I really doubt if you asked me to come here just for sex. Oh no, you've managed to expose my little trick. Chen Zhao stared at Zola helplessly. After sending Chen Zhao to the motel and confirming that he was fine, Zola left. God, Chen, you're still alive. When Ethan saw Chen Zhao walk in, he exclaimed loudly, Beelzebub, I miss you so much. Come and let me hug you. Roar. Beelzebub opened his mouth and showed his sharp teeth. Ethan immediately gave up the thought of going close to Beelzebub. I said that I would be busy for a few days. Did you purposely hide outside for a few days because you saved my grandmother and was worried that you'll be in trouble? If this is the case, you can stop being so anxious. I promise you that nobody will disturb you because of this. I said I was busy, not hiding from someone. Chen Zhao rolled his eyes. Do you remember the gang leader whom I treated last time? Yes. Why? Did that person cause any trouble for you? No. I forgot the name of that street, but I need to go there. Drive me there. I need to look after the motel. If you ask for my help again in the future, I'll definitely ignore you. Why? Isn't it just driving you there? Let's go. When they arrived at their destination, the sky had already turned dark. This particular street was usually unsafe at night, so there were almost no pedestrians around. What did you come here for? Nothing. Let's go back. Are you kidding? We drove all the way here only to take a look? Ethan roared. If you say that we came here to take a look at a woman, I can understand, but it's a run-down street without a single soul. You only took a look and now we're leaving? Bastard, I swear you're playing me. Actually, Chen Zhao was really here to find someone. He had already found the person, so now they were leaving. At the moment, the person was in the car, right beside Chen Zhao. It was just that Ethan could not see anything. Chapter 46. I just need to pee. Chapter 46. I just need to pee. On the way back, Ethan looked at Chen Zhao in the rearview mirror. He saw that Chen Zhao kept looking at the empty space next to him, lips moving occasionally. He seemed to be talking to some invisible person. Chun, did you smoke weed? Huh, why would you think so? You think I'll touch that stuff? Or is it LSD? Damn it, that stuff is more toxic than weed. Please, I don't touch that stuff. I've never done drugs. But it seems like you. Don't ask. I'm very normal. Ethan suddenly realized that Chen Zhao seemed to be able to see things that he couldn't. Chun, is there anyone on this car, other than us? Beelzebub and Raymond? No, other than them. Suddenly, there was a car driving on the wrong side of the road before them. The headlights glared. Ethan's expression changed drastically because the moment that the headlights shone over, he saw a terrifying figure in the rearview mirror. He quickly looked away, but the thing that he'd seen that instant kept flashing in his mind. Ethan, stop the car. Chen Zhao suddenly yelled. What's wrong? Stop now. Right now. Stop the car. Chen Zhao's tone was urgent. Ethan hurriedly slammed on the brakes. Then Chen Zhao called, Get out. Ethan didn't know what Chen Zhao was doing. We can't park here. Just then, there was a huge explosion at the intersection up ahead. A fuel tanker and a small car collided. Firelight swallowed the two vehicles in an instant. Ethan turned deathly pale. This Chen, how did you know? I just needed to pee, so I thought to do it at the side of the street. Ethan didn't ask. He just felt that Chen Zhao must have predicted something, or he received information from someone, so he had Ethan stop the car so hurriedly. He could see the Grim Reaper. He could communicate with the Grim Reaper. Yeah, he was probably looking for the Grim Reaper when he had Ethan go to that street. He knew where the Grim Reaper was. Ethan was thinking nonsense, but his guesses were very close to the truth. Chen, is there someone beside you? Chen Zhao subconsciously glanced at Blackie. What? There's no one next to me. No, I saw it. The Grim Reaper's next to you. Chen Zhao was shocked. How did you know? It's true. Ethan was even more shocked. Chen Zhao realized that Ethan couldn't actually see and was just guessing. True? What are you talking about? Are you high? No, I'm sure. Chen, who exactly are you? I don't know what you're talking about. Get on the car and take a different route. Chen, are you sure nothing will happen now? You'll ensure my safety, right? You won't have the Grim Reaper take me away, right? If you keep blabbing, the Grim Reaper might kill you because you talk too much. Fine. I'll shut up. Ethan looked at the rearview mirror again. He tried to keep it in, but he couldn't help but speak again. Chen, can you say hi to the Grim Reaper for me? I swear this is my last sentence. Watch the road. Chen Zhao facepalmed. I'm begging you. If you keep getting distracted, we'll really die. Chen, did the Grim Reaper reply? Didn't you say that that was your last sentence? This is my last sentence now. That was the second to last. If you say another word before I get home, I'll ask the Grim Reaper to make that the last sentence of your entire life. Please don't. We're brothers. Who's your bro? I don't have such an old brother. Ethan was a chatterbox. Even though he was sure one of his passengers was the Grim Reaper, he still couldn't stop talking. The biggest reason was that Chen Zhao was here. He was sure Chen Zhao wouldn't let him die. As long as Chen Zhao was here, he could toe the bottom line without worry. Chen, I want to see the Grim Reaper. Can he appear for me? I'm going to sleep. Wake me up when we're there. Grim Reaper, have you watched the movie Final Destination? Ethan started talking to himself. I feel like it's an insult to you. You definitely don't have bad interests like that. Grim Reaper, how long do you think I can live for? Will I die from diabetes? If I can meet you, I'll definitely ask for an autograph. You might not know this because I look like a Protestant, but I actually worship the devil and the Grim Reaper. If I become your most loyal believer, will I become immortal? Or at least add a few years to my life? Chen isn't actually suitable to act as your messenger. Maybe you can consider some other people. Ethan, I didn't fall asleep. Chen Zhao glanced at him. Sorry, I just wanted to try and see if I can have the ability of controlling life and death. Ethan, you're so old already. You still watch those weird TV shows? Grim Reaper, you can see that Chen isn't a good choice. I will follow all your orders diligently. Chen Zhao really didn't want to reply to Ethan anymore. This fat middle-aged American guy was just like a teenage geek. Grim Reaper, can you say something to me? After chatting for an hour, they finally reached Chen Zhao's home. He got out of the car immediately. Ethan, drive safely. Chen, I don't like driving at night. Can I stay the night? Not tonight. How about tomorrow? Why not? Are you going to do some ritual? Ethan, do less drugs. You're delusional already. Chen, you don't have to hide it. I know that you probably can't say it out loud. Is that the Grim Reaper's rule? That you'll get punished if you say the truth? Then I won't make it hard for you. Okay. If thinking like that will make life easier for you, then just think that way. Goodbye. Chen Zhao slammed the door shut and went into his house. He went to turn on the lights, but found that it wouldn't work. Did the construction company not fix the circuits? No. Didn't the movies always play out like this? Haunted homes often had blackouts. Blackie, is it the evil spirit? No. It's because your fuse blew out. Blackie paced through the house. Don't go to the basement tonight. What are you going to do? Your new house is renovated. I need to renovate mine too. Chapter 47. Arrival of the Third Demon Servant. Chapter 47. Arrival of the Third Demon Servant. Blackie, do you know how to fix the fuse? The night was still somewhat hot and stuffy. Blackie would occasionally leave the basement, only to go back again later. Zhao could not fall asleep. If he had known it earlier, he would have stayed in Ethan's motel that night. Nonetheless, Zhao was quite tired from all that had happened that day. Zhao did not go back to his room as it was even hotter. Instead, he lay on the sofa and fell asleep dizzily. However, in the middle of the night, he suddenly felt some coldness in the air. Woof woof. Zhao heard Beelzebub's barks. Opening his eyes, he saw a snow-white fox standing on his body. The moonlight shone through the windows onto the fox, giving it a particularly eye-catching appearance, as if its body was covered by a layer of frost. What is it? A demon? Bastard human, you've summoned another demon without my permission, and it's a subordinate of the King of Frost. All these inferior demon king subordinates which do not belong to the seven sins are second class. You're humiliating my identity. Beelzebub barked wildly to express his frustration. Subordinate of the King of Frost, leave here and scram back to hell. This is my territory. Everything here belongs to me. Both Beelzebub's and Raymond's reactions were very intense. Anyhow, Zhao realized that he had summoned another demon unintentionally. To Beelzebub and Raymond, the King of Frost must be an inferior demon king. To them, all demon classes apart from the seven sins were inferior. Of course, they also disliked each other. They both had strong possessive desires. For example, Beelzebub had been very unhappy about Raymond's arrival in the beginning. The same thing happened for Blackie, and now the subordinate of the King of Frost. Zhao was still unsure how he had managed to summon these subordinates at the moment. Beelzebub, Raymond, and this subordinate of the King of Frost. It should be related to his thoughts, but he did not know exactly what he should do. Summoning these subordinate demons was different from summoning inferior demons with demonic ritual implements. Inferior demons were like consumables. Zhao would only summon them when needed, and there would be a time limit after which they would return to hell. However, when he summoned inferior demons, he would usually summon their true forms. In particular, they would possess most of their original abilities. For example, when he summoned Raz and Bloody Hunter in the past, both of them appeared in their true forms, that is, in their original appearances. On the other hand, whenever he summoned a subordinate demon, a form of contract would form between the two of them. Zhao had already found out from Beelzebub that the basis of this contract was that the two parties could not harm each other. Beelzebub and Raymond both called themselves demon servants. They could not defy Zhao's orders, whether it was in the human world or in hell. Secondly, they could both use Zhao's token, together with a huge price, to summon him to hell. Master, can I kill them? They're so noisy. The white fox swung its two slender and soft tails as it stared at Beelzebub and Raymond from above with an arrogant look. Master? It calls me master? God, that feels so amazing. This was the first demon servant that Zhao had summoned which called him master. Indeed, obedient demons were much better. Zhao glanced at Beelzebub and Raymond. These two bastards still called him human all the time. The more he looked at them, the more he disliked them. Can you beat them? The more inferior a demon is, the less restriction it receives in the human world. I'm Carrie Phantom, subordinate of the King of Frost, a second-class demon king. Hence the suppression I receive from the rules in the human world is much weaker than them. Moreover, my true form is no weaker than them, so I can easily freeze them into ice pops. Zhao more or less understood what Carrie had just said. Firstly, the Fox Carrie was a subordinate of the King of Frost, a second-class demon king, or a small demon king. The first-class demon kings were the 7 great demon kings which precisely represented the 7 sins. The 7 great demon kings must be the most powerful ones in hell. However, their subordinates need not be stronger than subordinates of other small demon kings. Secondly, the more powerful a demon's master was, the more its power would be restricted in the human world, and vice versa. To put it simply, Carrie's true form was no weaker than Beelzebub and Raymond in hell, so her projection in the human world was stronger than them. Their original powers were similar, but different ratios were carried to the human world, resulting in the difference. Just teach them a lesson. Don't kill them. As you wish. Carrie waved her two tails, and the coldness in the air surged. A shroud of smoke appeared above the living room. To be precise, it was actually a layer of clouds. Then, Zhao saw many fist-sized hailstones raining down from the clouds. Stop, quickly stop. It's my house. But it was too late. The originally newly furnished hall was soon covered in a mess. Zhao wanted to cry but had no tears. Why? Master, you should blame them. If they can stand still and let me hit them, I would not have destroyed your house. All their fault. Zhao finally realized that the obedient-looking Carrie was also what she seemed to be. What a shame that I thought she's the most understanding demon among the three. It was all but an illusion. From now on, I don't allow any of you to fight in my house. If you break anything, you pay me the original price. Do you understand? You're the one who asked me to hit them, Carrie muttered. And whatever I say is the truth. No talking back. Even Lord Satan dares not say that his word is the truth. Exactly. Suddenly, Blackie's head flew out from the wall. At the instant Carrie saw Blackie, she entered the battle state. Attack. Then, Zhao saw countless ice bolts shoot onto the wall, which immediately collapsed. Zhao slapped his forehand. Were there no demons that were normal? I only want a clever, obedient, and non-violent demon. Is it that difficult? Carrie, the wall costs $2,000 and $3,000 for the furniture and floor. So you owe me $5,000 now. Cash or card? Just then, Zhao heard a series of police sirens outside the house. After that, someone knocked on the door. Zhao glanced at Carrie. Without my permission, don't use your ability before other humans. Do you get it? Zhao opened the door and saw an unfamiliar police outside. Are you the new resident here? Yes. What is it? Your neighbor complained about loud noises in your house. The police had already seen the messy living room through the gap in the door. Can you tell me what happened? The police had already put his hand on the gun around his waist. If he noticed anything wrong, he would probably draw his gun at once. In fact, I also have no idea what happened. I was sleeping in my room and suddenly heard loud noises. Then, I discovered that my living room looks like it has almost experienced a windstorm. I suspect a thief has broken in. Chapter 48. Maybe you'll become my stepdad. Chapter 48. Maybe you'll become my stepdad. I need to go in to investigate, the police officer said. Zhao moved aside and allowed the officer to come in. The officer still didn't lower his guard. He walked into the living room and saw water everywhere. The wall had collapsed and the furniture was practically all damaged. There was only a glass table unharmed. It had 3 small animals on it: a white fox, a Shar-Pei dog, and a colorful poisonous snake. They seemed to be coexisting peacefully, though, and stared at the officer with strange eyes. There, my pets. It looks like a tornado just ripped through here, the officer said, scanning the surroundings. When I rented this place, the agent said that it's a bit paranormal, Zhao said earnestly. I didn't believe it then, but now I do. The officer shivered. The living room was kind of cold. Is this 13, Banana Street, Mountain Town? 13 was obviously an unlucky number. Anything that was related to 13 made people feel uncomfortable. Zhao nodded. Yes, it's 13, Banana Street, Mountain Town. I will report your situation up, and someone will come to check if it was caused by man or not. Okay, Zhao said helplessly. Sir, I think it's best if you move out for now. Think about your safety. Thank you. I don't have anywhere to go, though. I can't go to the police station, right? If you don't mind, I can bring you there. You won't get ghosts there, at least. Oh, it's fine. It'll be daybreak in a few hours. I'll just sleep and it'll be over. All right. If you run into trouble, call the police. Good luck. The officer was responsible for surveying the small town. There wasn't actually a police station in the town. Mountain Town's public security was under the responsibility of the Greater LA Area Subbureau. The officer had heard before that there was a house in the town where many people had died in. He just didn't know which one it was. When Chen Zhao said this house had paranormal instances, he accepted it quickly. He even thought that this might be paranormal activity too. It wasn't true that Americans wouldn't believe in these things. They might even be more gullible than Chinese people. In the morning, Chen Zhao contacted the renovation company and paid $1,000 to rebuild everything. It didn't feel good to eat breakfast in the messy room at all. Just then, someone charged in. Oh my God, what happened here? World War III? It was Manny, Zola's daughter. Chen Zhao put down his sandwich. Why did you come? To find you. Are we close? You might become my stepdad. I need to get to know my stepdad beforehand. Is there a problem? I think you've made a mistake, Chen Zhao said with a dark expression. I'm not your stepdad and I'm not going to be. Ooh, such a cute puppy. Her name is Carrie. She's a fox, not a dog. Carrie tried to escape from Manny's clutches, but when she wasn't using her abilities, she was Beelzebub's size. Such soft fur. Be my stepdad and give me Carrie. I refuse. And let me tell you again, I'm not your stepdad. I don't plan on being anyone's stepdad. Is my mom not good enough? No, she's great. Then why won't you be my stepdad? Your mother is your mother. I'm me. She's great, but that doesn't mean we need to get married. But you guys have sex? So, what does that mean? It means that you need to take responsibility and marry my mom. Isn't that what you Asians believe in? You think that people who have sex need to get married? Of course. So if I rape you now, you'll marry me? Manny turned and ran away. Chen Zhao rolled his eyes. A while later, Carrie, who'd been kidnapped by Manny, ran back. Carrie, come out. Manny's voice traveled in from the outside. Don't stay with that perv. Unlike with Daniel, Zola protected Manny more. At least, some of her thoughts were still very naive. A while later, Daniel's voice sounded outside. Manny, how come you're here? You shouldn't be here. Daniel, that asshole wants to rape me. What? What happened? He said it. He said he wants to rape me. Daniel broke through the door. Chun, get this straight. Why does Manny say that you want to rape her? Chen Zhao rolled his eyes, not wanting to reply to Daniel. If I wanted that, do you think you can still see her in one piece? You want to, but you haven't acted yet, Manny said while hiding behind Daniel. Daniel, what do you need? If there's nothing, then get out. I need to clean up. Daniel finally noticed Chen Zhao's living room. What happened here? World War III? You two really are siblings. You say the same things. Chen, how about you move to Beverly Hills? I'll borrow a house from Grandpa. We can live together. No, people will think we're gay. Even if I want to co-rent with someone, I'll find a woman and not you. We're brothers. We can get girls together, party together, go crazy together. No one will think we're gay. I don't want to. We can go have fun together, but we don't have to live together and go out together. Chen Zhao rejected him without even thinking. Daniel, how can you be brothers with someone like him? Let's go. Take me home. Manny tugged on Daniel. I'm busy today. Leave, Chen Zhao said. Fine. I'll go now, but there's a party in a few days. Will you come? What time? Saturday night. I'll see. After Daniel left, Chen Zhao finally knocked on the basement door. Blackie, how's your renovation going? The door opened and Blackie floated out. Come in. I'm mostly done. The last Soulbringer left many things behind. A lot of the collections were jumping around. It was hard for me to finally capture them all. Are you sure humans can go in? There won't be any danger, right? I'm certain. Hearing that, Chen Zhao entered the basement. The first few steps were quite normal, but the further he went, the murkier his vision became. Then there was fog everywhere, but the environment somehow became vast and open. He found himself standing in the center of a cemetery. There was a dark castle up ahead. That's my home. Blackie had suddenly spoken behind Chen Zhao, which scared him. Blackie, stop scaring people. I thought that we're familiar with each other, and you should be used to it. I'll never be used to it. My power recovered quite a lot, Beelzebub suddenly said. He started enlarging. Me too, Raymond said. He'd become a 10-meter-long cobra. Seems like this isn't the human world. I'm no longer restricted by the principles of the human world. My power has recovered 60%. Zhao looked at Carrie. She was the only one who hadn't changed. Raymond and Beelzebub had been tormented by Carrie last night. Now, they all looked at her with dangerous expressions. Chapter 49, Inheritance from the Previous Grim Reaper. Chapter 49, Inheritance from the Previous Grim Reaper. Blackie pulled Zhao away. Let's stand back before we get affected by their battle. Zhao glanced at the three demons and decided to keep his distance. Black clouds started gathering in the sky again, just like what had happened in the living room the previous day, only that its range was larger. Carrie's appearance did not change, but she indeed seemed to be stronger than before. The three demons started to have a messy fight. Although their powers were not too destructive, such a non-CGI battle scene was still appalling. An enormous, 10-meter-long snake and a Shar-Pei which was larger than a tiger were frantically dodging the hailstones falling from the sky. Carrie did not move at all, and only stood still while using her icy powers to stop Raymond and Beelzebub from coming closer. She was like a snow elf, standing proudly at her spot with ice and snow circling around her body. Why do I feel that as subordinates under the 7 sins, Beelzebub and Raymond are much weaker than Carrie? At the very least, Zhao thought that Carrie's icy powers looked much more gorgeous. You can't compare their powers like this. Blackie stood at the side, watching the battle. They can't display their true powers here, so it appears as if Beelzebub and Raymond are not as strong as Carrie. Actually, their powers are more or less the same. Beelzebub's and Raymond's powers as subordinates may even be stronger than that of Carrie. I only believe in what I see. Zhao could not understand how the powers of demons were calculated. Was the strength of a demon not decided by battles? Could their powers not be seen from the fight that was happening? Let them continue their fight. I'll bring you around in the castle. When Blackie and Zhao arrived before the castle, the suspension bridge lowered slowly. After passing the bridge, they reached the gates. There were 2 guards standing on both sides of the gates. Zhao glanced at the guards. Are these decorations? Or something else? I feel somewhat creeped out by them. These were left behind by the crevice's original master. The previous Soulbringer lived in the late Middle Ages, I think, so most decorations here are from the Middle Ages. For example, these 2 are headless horsemen. Headless horsemen? Zhao had of course heard about the headless horseman. It was a famous existence in Western mythology. But shouldn't the headless horseman come with a horse called Daredevil? Yes, but to put it simply, a headless horseman is just the soul of a knight whose head has been cut off. The soul is trapped in the armor and fuses with the armor. If the armor is destroyed, so will the soul. Do they have their own awareness? Nope, they're but marionettes, and they do whatever I tell them to. Zhao heard deep breathing sounds from the depths of the castle which did not sound like humans. What's inside? Little 3, come out and meet my friend. From the shadows, a dog which was much larger than Beelzebub walked out slowly. It had 3 heads. Cerberus? Haha, its appearance seems to be especially frightening to humans. Is it not Cerberus? Yes and no. What do you mean? The Cerberus you humans know refers to the Hell Gatekeeper in Greek mythology. It's a specific example of a hellhound. In fact, the hellhound is a creation of demons, and there are more than one. As long as you have enough raw materials, you can make as many as you want. Apart from not being able to reproduce, their habits are more or less the same as an ordinary dog. How about food? Anything smaller than itself is its food. All the 3 heads stuck their tongues out. It really did look like an ordinary dog. Little 3 is the name you gave it? Yes. Don't you think I'm gifted at giving names? Does it like this name? I think so. Good. It's just like how I call you Blackie. The fact that you can accept it is more important than anything else, including whether the name itself is good or not. Chen Zhao took out a nail-sized piece of demonic crystal. Little 3, come, it's for you. Demonic crystals were irresistible to all demons and related species, including hellhounds. The center head of Little 3 was the first to react. It stuck its tongue out and snatched the demonic crystal. The other 2 heads stared at Chen Zhao in resentment. This caused Chen Zhao to be somewhat confused. Do the 3 heads share one awareness, or are they separate? 3. They share one body, but have 3 minds. Oh, I see. Chen Zhao took out 2 more pieces of demonic crystals. The head at the center still wanted to snatch the crystals, but Chen Zhao pushed it away. Give them to your 2 brothers. You already had one. Since their habits were similar to a dog, Chen Zhao was not worried that it would attack him. Chen Zhao really trusted dogs, at least more than he trusted humans. Oh yeah, since they have 3 minds, one name will not suffice. You need 2 more names. Little 1 and Little 2. What do you think? Fantastic. You're indeed gifted at giving names. So you're Little 1, Little 2, and Little 3. Blackie counted from the head on the left to the one on the right, distributing the names properly. Clearly, hellhounds were cheerful creatures. They did not mind if their names were really bad. Was it from the previous owner as well? No, it's my creation. At the end of the aisle, Chen Zhao came to a sudden halt, because the ring pit before him was filled with bones. A wooden bridge lied above the pit. What's this? The bad taste of the previous owner. He has once appeared before mankind. I think he's the creator of necromancers. He injected souls into these skeletons so that they could move temporarily. Then the ignorant humans called him a necromancer. Can you soulbringers appear before humans? It depends on our powers. I can't do it, but those powerful and old soulbringers can. How old are you? Around 100 years old. How long can you soulbringers live? Around 500 years. Some can live longer, but usually not more than 1,000 years. So you're considered as young in your race, right? Blackie nodded. Oh yeah, I can bring you to the previous owner's lab. Lab? Yes. You know that we usually live alone, but we also feel lonely, so we normally have some hobbies to do when we're free, such as research or learning. Blackie brought Chen Zhao into the laboratory. In the web-filled laboratory, Chen Zhao saw many shelves full of jars. Most of the jars contained a green liquid in which weird-shaped organisms were floating. What are these? Hell organisms? Chapter 50, Demon's Art of Healing. Chapter 50, Demon's Art of Healing. No, they're all modified from regular organisms. They're all dead. Most are dead, but a portion hasn't died yet. Chen Zhao strolled to a shelf. Suddenly, an octopus in a jar slammed against the side of the jaw. Chen Zhao freaked out and almost twisted his ankle. He seemed to have missed his step. Looking down, he realized he'd stepped onto a switch. A door opened up on the wall. Huh. You actually found a switch here. I didn't even discover it. Should we go in and look? Chen Zhao didn't dare go in alone. It felt safer to be with Blackie. After entering through the secret door, they followed the snaking tunnel down. A few minutes later, they reached the bottom. It was a research lab with all kinds of torture devices. There were strange skeletons carved onto the tools. Blackie studied them. It looks like the former went against some taboos. What taboos? It experimented on living beings. The rule of us soulbringers is that it's forbidden to directly kill any living beings. However, it did living experiments. There was a bookshelf on the side with many books on it. Chen Zhao took one down. It was actually a medical book. The former soulbringer clearly did experiments on humans too. Chen Zhao looked through the book and was unexpectedly interested. Blackie, can I bring this book out to read? No. Many of the things here are too ancient. If you take them out, they'll corrode completely. If you want to read them, you can visit at any time. The hellhounds know you anyway. Okay. Chen Zhao realized that he wasn't the first person to use demonic crystals. This previous guy had also experimented with it. The book contained notes and research on this too. The content was great inspiration for Chen Zhao. To him, the book was like a treasure chest. However, The last thing the author wrote was that his experiments were never successful because there weren't enough demonic crystals. The book's content was neither Chinese nor Western medicine. It didn't even belong to this world. This was probably demonic medicine. It was developed by a demon, and the contents touched on some medication created with materials from hell. Some were used on humans, some on demons, and others could be used on animals too. Blackie, can you soulbringers enter hell too? We're a type of demon. Is it strange for us to go into hell? Okay, pretend I didn't ask. Zhao put down the book. He wanted to take it out, but Blackie was right. If he took it out, the book would disappear instantly. The content in the book wasn't suitable to appear in the world either. Did they finish fighting? A long time ago. Who won? Carrie. She beat Beelzebub and Raymond? Yes. But you said Beelzebub and Raymond are stronger. I also said that they can't use their true strength. When Chen, Zhao, and Blackie walked out of the castle, Carrie was still chasing after Beelzebub and Raymond. The scene was quite odd. A white fox the size of a kitten was chasing two beasts that were 100 times her size. Of course, there was also a black cloud that kept following them. However, when Chen Zhao came over, Carrie had already given up on chasing after the two. She jumped into Chen Zhao's arms. Master, I'm powerful, right? Yes. Then how about we kill their projections? You only need me. If I kill anyone, I'll kill all of you, Chen Zhao thought. Can't you all act more like normal pets? If they were regular pets, it was okay even if they fooled around like huskies, as long as they didn't demolish his home. Thank God they were fighting in Blackie's new home. If they fought outside, Chen Zhao's new home would probably be flattened already. After leaving Blackie's new home, they appeared in the basement. Chen Zhao's phone rang. It was Ethan. Chun, where did you go? I called you, but there was no signal. I thought you got buried alive by someone. Do you need anything? There's business. This client is at Angel Beach. Who is it? What's the price? $200. That's so cheap. Go take a look. Oh, you know him? I know of her, but I don't know her. A celebrity? No, regular person. Okay, I'll go look. I wonder what kind of person will make you ask so directly. Chen Zhao called Vincent next. Vincent, come to my house in 20 minutes. $100. After getting Daniel's payment, Chen Zhao's wallet became much thicker. He could pay more generously too. Vincent arrived within 20 minutes. Chun, get on. Where are we going? Angel Beach. Hurry, the patient has waited for a long time. How come you have a new pet? What's its name? Vincent saw the white fox jump in from the rearview mirror. Curious, he asked, is it a fox? Her name is Carrie. Carrie, this is Vincent. Carrie stood in the back seat, looking here and there. She looked 100 times more attractive than Beelzebub and Raymond. Everyone would genuinely like her at first glance. Chun, how do you train them? How come every pet has such unusual behaviors in your hands? Are you a druid? You're not the first person to ask me that. Angel Beach was a very popular beach. There were bikini-clad beauties everywhere. The ocean and beach were filled with people. Chun, where's your patient? If it's someone drowning, he's probably gone to see God already. Vincent sat in the car. He was enjoying the groups of sexy girls too. Chen Zhao rolled his eyes as he looked at the sea of people. If someone was drowning, it wouldn't be his job to save him either. There were lifeguards here. I'll ask Ethan. Ethan, I'm already at Angel Beach. Where's the client you said? In the lifeguard team, Ethan said. Chen Zhao brought his 3 pets off the car. Vincent stuck his head out and said, Chun, should I wait for you here? I don't know how long it'll take. If you give me $100 more, I can wait until the end of time. Fine. Here's 100. Chen Zhao walked toward the lifeguard team. A muscle man was standing at the top of a small wooden tower. He wore red swimming trunks and had binoculars hanging around his neck. There was an inflatable next to him. Hey, how can I help you? He looked down at Chen Zhao. I'm a doctor. I heard someone needs treatment here. Ethan sent you? Yes. The muscle man scanned Chen Zhao and then waved his hand. Follow me. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.